make it this far. They hate it, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic gotta say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger, cause it can get bigger. Hey, please don't play no games with me, I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart, we always play rough. I had enough. It ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track. No, when they ask what's the motive, don't talk about the show. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and they're keeping it rolling. They already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it. Moving fast, already gone. Yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog. Just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get bigger. Cause it can get bigger. Cause it can get bigger. Yeah. Gotta aim for the top like. I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. Putting on for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You tryna aim for the top like this and you're in your element with a fire like this. And they hoping you fall and they praying you miss. But it's all in the risk, I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone, give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas, 155 on the road. You could be a friend of mine. Flow is like water, I'm forced through the fire, I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth, following God and you grinding, you do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center, word to Spike Lee. And God came in the nick of time, they think I'm crazy, but I might be. Let's run it up, run it up, run it up. We beating the odds just to sum it up. You know it's a rap, never waistlines, and I'm cutting the weight like a tummy tuck. That mean I'm about to give it out right now. You see what's coming down the line, I never pipe down. I give 100% of me, trying to stun on my enemies, in my element is crazy, it's the mic sign. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas, 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element.
Yeah, I hit the mute button. Yeah, I hit the mute button. Yeah, man. Yeah, we catching up. We catching up, man. We slow, but we for sure, man. We for sure with it. We sometimes slow with it, but we for sure with it. Shout out to everybody in the building. Welcome to another segment. It is time to read the ring, ladies and gentlemen. We got a great show for you today. Today is ZUFFA Tuesday. ZUFFA Tuesday. Come on, come on. If you don't want to talk about ZUFFA, I get it, but today ain't the day to be in the building. We got things to talk about today. We got a nice show lined up for sure, right? We definitely have a great show lined up today. We're going to be talking about ZUFFA coming into Madison Square Garden, coming into New York, right? Pause. Maybe I should have said that, but ZUFFA showing up in New York. I don't know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Pause, whatever, bro. I don't know, bro.
Yep. Stop the cap.
It is what it is. It is what it is. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Edgar Berlanga today. We're going to be talking about Richardson Hitchins today. Of course, we're going to be talking about a home team favorite in Jalil Hackett. We're going to be talking about their opponents, Sergey Derevchenko, Ricardo Salas, and of course, Steven Butler. We're going to be talking about the whole movement and where it's gone up until this point. Also, we have a special guest in the building today. Manager of Julian Rodriguez, Dimitri Popov, is supposed to pop up on the show today. And, you know, that conversation should be a good conversation as well, as we have a lot to catch up on. The last time we had Dimitri on the show, we were talking about Julian, obviously, but also talking about Kane Sandoval, that victory. And we were getting ready to go into the fight he was getting ready to have with Mr. Perella, right? I can't remember his first name, so I'm going to call him Mr. Perella, right? That fight has came and went. So what's next for Julian Rodriguez? Also, obviously, a lot of things have been developing in ZUFFA Boxing since the last time we talked with Dimitri Popov. So we'll be talking about those changes as well, as far as new acquisitions, as far as the welterweight division in ZUFFA Boxing, as far as all those intangibles and where we are today. And of course, what we're looking forward to seeing from Julian Rodriguez in the future. On top of that, you know, maybe we'll have time, but we definitely will open up the panel at some point in time. The Discord live will be open as well. So you guys could definitely tap into that. Definitely, if you haven't done it yet, become a part of the community. Hop up into the Discord. You know what I'm saying? Hop up and join that community. But we'll be talking also about some other things as well, I'm sure, today as well at some point or another. Today was the big grand arrival for Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu, right? That happened, right? Somewhat of a press conference happened. I guess I didn't catch the whole thing, but I did, you know, catch some pieces, some interviews that were being done. Looks like for the most part, it looks like Errol Spence Jr. is ready for that fight. I'm not too sure how it's going to end up looking. I'm still favoring Errol Spence to do this. I just think his pedigree is just a little bit different. But more importantly, I think us as fans, we're going to get a great fight, right, on the back end. I just believe that. I think all the pieces are in the right place. I just can't picture any of these guys playing it safe to the point to where they can slow this fight down to a snail's pace and make it boring, right? I don't think it's in their DNA. So at the end of the day, I think the fight's going to be a great fight, right? Stephen Fulton is going to be on the card as well. We know Jamal Charlo won't be on the card because of passport issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn, the face-off came out today. I'm sure it was recorded a week or two ago, but that was an interesting conversation that those guys had between themselves as well. So, you know, maybe we'll touch base into that once we open up the panel as well. We also have conversations around, well, I mean, how many conversations do we have, though? But the Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis negotiations that's in process still seem to be moving forward. Bill Haney's put interviews out on Fight Hype. Obviously, we know that he did a great interview with Champside. Shout out to Champside, put together a great interview there. But for the most part, we're still all just sitting around waiting to see what's going to happen with that, right? We all had long discussions yesterday about how this whole entire negotiation may work out. Will the bid be enough or suffice for the Haneys to make the fight happen? It seems like Bill is willing to make the fight. Even if you listen to Bill, it sounds like even if it was only $200,000 on the line, looks like he wants to go in that direction as well. I don't know what's going on with that. Obviously, we know with the zone signing fighters and giving out deals right now and offering deals to certain fighters that it hasn't gone through with, you know, there's no ceiling on this as to where it can go. I'm hoping that the Keyshawn Davis fight is what rolls out. You know what I mean? If you ask me, that's the fight I want to see more than the Shakur fight. I think the Shakur fight and the Devin fight is a great fight, you know, I guess on paper to a degree, just because of the resumes and who they are and the storyline. But I just think if you want to see a real good fight, that sounds like a fight. Styles make fights. And I think Keyshawn Davis and Devin Haney make the best fight. So hopefully that's how it ends up being. Worst case scenario, and how much can you be upset if the worst case scenario is Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson, right? You're going to be upset about that? I don't think so, right? I don't think so.
Stop the cap.
Right? That's not what we're expecting. We're not going to be upset one way or another as far as how that's going to turn out. We have all those things to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I do have my co-host in the building today. He wasn't here yesterday. He was moving around, doing what he got to do, you know what I'm saying? But today he is in the building. So we will be, talking a lot more about other topics as well, right? Other news coming out with Moses Atalma and Frank Sanchez look like, they damn near been ordered, even though Moses Atalma has a fight lined up with Philip Ergovich. I mean, newsworthy, I think I said about much news behind that as I'm going to say, right? That is what it is. We'll see how that develops. I mean, nothing's going to happen if Moses Atalma doesn't get through Philip Ergovich. So we don't need to talk about that. The only fight we need to be talking about when we're talking about Moses Atalma is the fight that he has in front of him, which is Philip Ergovich. Shout out to everybody in the building. Of course, as you're stepping into the building, take a moment, hit the like button. Don't forget to do that. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everybody who's in the building, man. I'm going to take a moment to go ahead and run down everybody who's in the building. Say, what up, what up, what up? We only got about 28 people in the building, so slowly people are creeping in here, but it is what it is, man. Shout out to Sam from Jersey in the building. Sam, what's good, man? Says, I was waiting on this one. Let's get it, ATP. This is going to be that one. Let's get it. No doubt. Eduardo Alvarez in the building. Salute to you. Cheeks Van Houter in the building. Welcome down, Van Houter. Father of Damazian Van Houter, future of the American heavyweight division prospect at ZUFFA Boxing, doing his thing, man. Says, hit that like before you type or dislike because you hating. Big Zoo in the house. Much respect, Angelo. I hit that like button, no doubt, man. Agent 077 says, shout out to one of the best boxing podcasts out there, no doubt, man. I had to agree with you, brother. I had to agree with you. Donnie 9566, shout out ZUFFA Boxing on top, mainstream boxing on the come up, no doubt. Kalia World in the building says, hello, the queen is in the building. Salute to the queen. Salute to the queen. Kalia, what's good, queen? Agent said, I'm here for that ZUFFA talk and glazing. Please don't deviate from the topic and talk that traditional boxing today. To this day. To this day. Hey, man, you asked for it. We're going to give it to you, right? Zero FX, zero bomb, F-bomb given says, shout out ATP, best boxing talk right here. That's a fact. I got to co-sign that, man, for sure, man. We fight all night in the building says, what's good, Claymore Rain? What's good with you? What's good, my brother HLD in the building. HL, what's good, man? What's good, my brother? WP36 in the building. Salute to you, family. HLD says, Bill Haney knows they must gamble on themselves, and taking care of Keyshawn puts them in a great spot. That can get them a DAZN deal. Oh.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
Yeah. HL talking that shit right now. James Valdez in the building. Salute, James. What's good, man? Says, just came in to smash that like button, and I appreciate you, James. Thank you, man, for taking the time to go ahead and do that. It helps. The algorithm helps everything we got going on. So thanks, man, for stopping by and making sure you gave us that validation, that thumbs up, right? Mine Yours in the building says, salute, X, salute, 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 salute. Moon Man in the building said, yo, what's good, Clay? What's good, man? Let me see here. Q2 times 556 in the building says, help me finish in the day. No doubt, man. Happily we can get you through it. SOB TV in the building says, salute, Claymore. Blessings, brother. Blessings to you, family. Mine Yours in the building says, salute, Claymore the Rayman for show, man. And Rel Jones says, yo, what's up, Clay? What's up with you? Guys, get your popcorn. If you ain't gone to the bathroom yet, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do, get back in the seat. We about to kick it off. Before we move any further along, I definitely got to bring up my guy. Y'all know who it is. Y'all hate to love him, love to hate him, whatever it is that you choose to do. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure you hit me with a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? Salute to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and bring up here my guy. Oh, wrong button. My What's good, Jello? What's
Man,
good?
I thought we were leveling up because I thought you were about to bring out my entry music, bro. I was like,
no, I don't have it yet. I definitely don't have it yet.
Here comes the entry music, bro. All right.
Definitely don't have it yet, man.
how's
What's
the
good with you, man?
soundboard treating you now? You like it?
I mean,
You like
it's
this
good.
new
It's
one?
good. I'm still learning. There's a lot of new features on here. I haven't even started using yet, so I'm learning
Okay.
it. But it's good, man. It's definitely an upgrade. 100%, it's an upgrade. That's for sure.
All right,
That's for
all
sure,
right.
man.
Yeah, no, it surprised me a little bit. Because I know Monday's not on the normal slate, so I guess you ended up doing that. I did happen to catch a little bit of you at the boxing voice. I was just doing replays just to see
Mhm.
what you're gonna be on, and it was just funny, man. I guess yesterday's boxing voice with you was let's attack Clay for liking Zuffa and Dana White Day or something. I don't know, man. It was just weird. It was, I mean, there were
That's
definitely a lot more callers now who agree with you, and just the few haters that still don't get it, man.
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
not
look,
the bu-
it takes age better with time, right? As time goes by, the takes start to make more sense. In the beginning, you kind of sitting out on a limb on your own. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of standing on what you know, but it always sounds good in the beginning, right? In the beginning, when they're
Right.
attacking the takes and everything like that, it's like, how much do I have to really defend it? All I can say is, we'll see. Let's see what happens.
Right,
I mean, that's
right,
all I got for you.
right,
But when it ages
right.
better, then of course I look a lot better in what I'm saying, in those situations, obviously, as well. Shout out to Ness, because Ness is always there to give me my flowers when they do age a little bit better, right? He always takes the time to be like, hey man, you were right about that too, man. Damn, bro. Like, I gotta give you your flowers. He gives me my flowers when I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Ness, who's always opened up that door, and he just always, you know what I'm saying, keeps it 100. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, granted, he's what's the word I am? He's a little cynical, because he's the type of person, until he actually sees it, he doesn't see it. So he's not
Right.
going to play that game with you. But once
Right.
it does come full circle, he has no problem returning back and be like, I was the one who was throwing shots at
Right.
that time. So I'm going to be the one, you know what I'm saying? To bring
Right.
it back and be like, brother, there you go again. You did it again, man. You did it again. We'll see on the next one,
Right.
though. On the next one, we'll
Right.
see how that one aged, Clay. Like, I got you, brother. I got you.
Right, right. Well, the big one, of course, is this whole Devin Haney thing, and yeah, man, taking longer than I anticipated. But Bill Haney himself, even today, he was on the Boxing Voice, and he said you're gonna hear the announcement of his opponent within the next 48 hours or less. So I don't know. I don't know why they keep playing these games, man.
I don't even know if it's
I don't know.
game. I don't know if it's. I think at the end of the day, it's about the promotion. It's about the marketing. It's about keeping the fans on the tip of their seats. It's about Bill is a professional in and out of the ring. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's training and cornering his son and Devin and inside the fights, or it's on the outside of the ring promoting the fights, pushing all the narratives, stirring up the media, doing his job. At the end of the day, one thing I can count on, and I believe wholeheartedly, is we're going to see a great fight. I don't never see, at the end of these campaigns he's on, I never see Devin end up in the ring with a tomato can, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what the hell is this? So,
Right.
hey, bro, I enjoy it. I enjoy it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? When you've been around Bill too long to be surprised. But we have a great guest getting ready to come up here today, man. And he's a regular up here, man. We haven't talked to him in a while. Last time we talked to him was closer to the beginning of this whole entire Zuffa campaign, right? Around Zuffa 1, Zuffa 2. We talked to Julian Rodriguez, right? We talked to him before his fights, but with Dimitri Popov, he's a busy man. But when he does come out, it's always a great opportunity to berate him with questions, right? Overwhelm him with questions on what's going on in Zuffa, because we don't know when we're going to see him again. So we got to make sure we get him good. We get him, and we get him real good. So he don't even feel like coming back up here for a couple months. He's going to be like, you know what? That was crazy. That was crazy. I'll see you guys in another 3 months. You guys are horrible, right? It is what it is, right? It is what it is. But guys, without a doubt, take a moment, sit back, relax. We're going to have a lot of questions answered today. I got the perfect co-host for this one right here. I mean, I'm always, me and Angelo, we talk all day. I know Angelo, this is Zuffa Tuesday today. So Angelo's in, like my wife would say, she said in Creole, he's in his bowl of grease today. You know what I'm saying? This is where Angelo wants to be. No place other than here, man. Y'all welcome up to the ring, man. Welcome up into Read the Ring, man. My guy, Dimitri Popov in the building, man.
Hey, guys.
Oh, we got a good one, man. We got a good one. And listen, we got people in the building. My guy, My guy, Agent 0777, what did he say? Hold on, I'm gonna tell you what he said, Dimitri. Hold on a second. He said, I'm here. There it is right there, Dimitri. He says, I'm here for the Zuffa talk and glazing. Please don't deviate from the topic and talk traditional boxing. Oh my goodness, bro. You know what I mean? He says, do not bring up traditional boxing today in this space, bro. We only talking Zuffa boxing today, and nobody better than Dimitri Popov. How you doing today, Dimitri? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great, man. We're doing great.
Hey, Dimitri, welcome back. Vacation was good. Everything was good with the family and everything.
Yeah, vacation was great. It was a little bit. A friend of mine was getting married in Spain, so we went and did that with the wife, and just came back, so feeling good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You weren't I'm assuming you weren't there when they won the World Cup then, because that just happened and you already came back. Must be a wild scene though, right? Must be crazy.
Yeah, no, I was there right as they were getting into the playoffs, so there were a couple of wins in there, and yeah, it's nuts over there. Everybody watches, so everybody's into it.
Yeah, number one sport in the world, right? Soccer, right? One of the number one sports, if not the number one sports in the world, right? It is what it is.
Yeah.
So, Dimitri, I don't know how much time I have you for, so I'm going to get right to it. You know what I mean? First and foremost, welcome back to the show, number one, right? It's always a pleasure having you with us. One thing I really appreciate about conversations like this is that it isn't our first interview, right? So the last time you were here, we spent a lot of time discussing Julian Rodriguez, Cain Sandoval, the direction of Julian's career. And of course, at that time, and I guess we could say that right now to a certain degree, a brand new experiment called ZUFFA Boxing, right? So at that point, a lot of what we were discussing was projection. We were talking about what we thought could happen. But today, we're in a completely different space, of course, right? We've got more fights. We've got more evidence. We've got more perspective. Julian has continued his run, right? Cain Sandoval has gone on to beat Brandon Lee, right? James Perella is now in the rearview mirror, right? We're going to talk about all those things, but I think more so ZUFFA Boxing has expanded. New fighters have signed, new markets have opened up, and now we've got Madison Square Garden that's now part of the conversation. So today, I don't necessarily want to ask the same questions we had before. I want to revisit many of those conversations, but now that we've actually seen how everything is unfolded, this interview is really about one question. At this point, what have we learned, Dimitri, right? What have we learned at this point with all the facts? What have we learned? Where do you stand on that point right now? Just on the journey right now with ZUFFA Boxing and everything that's happened today, what does Dimitri Popov understand about ZUFFA Boxing that maybe he didn't really grab onto earlier as he was starting the process with the company?
Well, I think they're just validating, all the best case scenario things that we were thinking about 7 months ago.
Okay, for
if
sure.
You look at, what the mainstream critics were afraid of back then. It started with fighters are not going to get paid. They're not going to be able to get anyone. I think that's behind us now, right? When we look at the latest of their signings, as well as the other, multiple fighters coming in from Matchroom and from other places saying we're getting paid 2 times, 3 times. I think Johnny Fisher said 5x or 6x what he was getting at Matchroom was his ZUFFA offer. Mm-hmm. So we're not even talking about like, hey, purses over here are 10% better, 20%. We're talking times better. Also, last time we were talking, it was like, hey, ZUFFA's never going to be able to cross over or fight for any of the traditional, their fighters fighting for any of the traditional belts. That's behind us now with the announcements that we have, with what's happening in Ireland, where they're fighting for a title, followed by Garcia and Ben, where they're fighting for another traditional title. So I feel like, the three of us, we're guessing at a lot of these things were going to happen. We were in the minority where everybody else was doubting us at the time and kind of saying, no, it's never going to happen. And I think what we've seen now is a lot of evidence, and now very exciting about to see what happens next.
100%.
Yeah, for the record, Dimitri, I wasn't guessing, baby. I'm just saying, man.
Are you saying some of us knew and some of us were guessing?
Well, you knew. So,
You be in the casino, though. You be in the casino, bro. You be in the casino. Just because you winning don't mean you ain't gambling, baby. You know what I'm saying? Angelo like to win at the poker table and be like, I don't gamble, brother. I knew I was going to hit it tonight. You guys are just amateurs. Give me my money. Give me my money. Go ahead, Orlando.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I know Dimitri, with you being on the space, and you're both in the MMA space and the boxing space, amongst managing other athletes in other sports, hockey, and basketball, and the whole bit. But futuristic wise, right? Like you're really seeing this landscape now. And me and Clay did a whole 40-minute talk on why it's a positive move that Ryan Garcia versus Conor Benn is happening. Why everybody needs to understand that, again, if you're a hardcore boxing person and you're hating what ZUFFA's doing, I have to keep reminding you, they're not advertising to you. They don't even really care about you that much, because they know you're going to watch it no matter what. What they're trying to do is reintroduce boxing to a whole bunch of new fans, the WWE fans, the UFC fans, casual space fans, the NFL. That's who they want. So with you being a manager and you seeing all of this, do you see it more things happening even faster, right? Like this Haney subject is the big subject right now that everybody's kind of talking about. But I know you know some stuff, Dimitri. So overall, how do you feel about that? And especially for someone like Julian, who has a chance to fight these guys that are being signed to ZUFFA right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, when like the welterweight division is actually a great example, right? If you want to pick it apart, because that's where Julian was fighting in. And if you look at when we were at ZUFFA Boxing 1, the division was Julian and Kane Sandoval, full stop. That was the division. There was no other welterweight signed, or maybe there were one or two guys that were like, lower level guys, and that was it. And you look at the division and how it's looking now, right? And again, my expectation is, right, that Shakur will end up fighting at welter, So you have Shakur in that division. You have Richardson Hitchins in that division. You have Conor Benn in that division. So you have, those guys plus Julian. There's basically, 3 or 4 guys in the top 10 welterweight world that are all signed under ZUFFA Boxing, and that's before Haney comes over or before anybody else. So the depth of the division is crazy how quickly they were able to put that together. And I know they're talking to more names. They haven't stopped. They're going to bring in more guys we know. So yeah, Julian's super excited, right? For us to be in a position where, we're getting the deepest division for him to be in, and it's easier to make those fights with guys that are already under ZUFFA, or guys they're bringing in. That's where he wants to be in, right?
Can I just add this too? Can you speak on the fact that, so here's Julian coming off a great victory with Perella. He doesn't have a fight scheduled, but even still, ZUFFA keeps him busy because he's going to be a part of the whole signing autographs this week in New York. I think he's going to be sitting next to, or be a part of, with Liv Morgan, who's the WWE champ. But can you speak on that as a manager, Dimitri, the other things that ZUFFA does provide the athletes?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's a good opportunity as well to make some of the people that are watching aware of stuff that's coming up here. If they come for the New York event, or if you guys are there, a couple of different things that Julian's going to be at. One is this Friday, he's going to be at the Continental Sports Bar, which is in Manhattan, from 5 p.m. onwards, from 6 p.m. onwards. This Friday, it's open to the public. There's going to be an opportunity to meet and greet with Julian and other guys. Ryan Rozicki's going to be there as well. So if you want to, meet and greet or see again, Ryan or Julian, they're both there, as well as some other guys. So that's kind of a little opportunity. There's going to be some, I think, media there, right? Opportunity for the fans to also meet with them, etc. And then on the day of the fight on July 26th, as you said, there's I think it's like part of the VIP package. If someone purchases the VIP package, like they have that VIP experience in the UFC, they're starting to implement that at ZUFFA as well, which includes, better seats and, drinks and on the house and stuff like that. And then you get to meet and greet some of the fighters and some stars from WWE, UFC, and Julian's going to be there for ZUFFA Boxing as well. So those are all great opportunities for him being here as one of the faces of boxing on the East Coast, right? So this is a car ride away for him. It's a great opportunity to connect with a lot of people locally, and it's we're blessed with that platform and the stuff that they're doing, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So Dimitri, going back to the last time we sat down and talked with, this going back to Julian Rodriguez, of course, was still proving people wrong, right? I mean, at this point, after Avius Griffin, after Kane Sandoval, after James Perella, and I bring them up because we're talking about two of the fighters I just mentioned. He was the underdog, right, on those fights, and then going into a James Perella fight where he was the favorite at that point. Where do you believe Julian Rodriguez stands at this point in his career today after all of this?
Well, I think what's great is not just the, this is, we're talking going back to June, July of 25, right? A year ago, he's had 3 fights in the last year already, right? If you count from Avius onwards to now, he's going to have another one before the end of this year. So 4 fights in less than a year and a half, which is great for activity. And the guys he's beat, right? All these last 3 guys are undefeated. I would say if you look at what Avius has done since, Avius has gone and knocked out 2 guys in the first or second round or something like that. And Kane just beat Brandon Lee 30-0, right? In a pretty spectacular fashion. So I think what it shows you is, number one, these opponents that Julian took down in a decisive fashion themselves are legitimate guys in the 20s, ranked in the 20s in welterweight. And, they're going to continue winning and beating other guys and surprising people because they are that good. And the fact that Julian did to them what he did, I think that answers your question of where he stands. I think he's a top 10 welterweight in the world. I think there's very few guys that would give him a 50-50 match. And all of the guys that would give him a 50-50 match are basically A-lister superstars that you guys talk about all the time. Right. I don't know what unknown guy is going to show up and put up a fight against him. So what we're hoping for is, like, based on this, is that he gets either, let's say, the winner of Hitchins versus Salas, July 26th. That would be a great fight for Julian, right? The winner, if you think of if there are any type of internal rankings that haven't been released at ZUFFA right now, you would think that the welterweights that have fought, it would be Julian number 1, Salas number 2, et cetera, et cetera. Hitchins hasn't fought yet, right? So so you would think, right, those 2 guys are the top 2, and then Kane is at number 3 probably after his win at Brandon Lee. So you would think that Julian would fight, the other top ranked guy, which would be whoever wins Salas versus Hitchins. That's one logical fight. If for some reason they can't make that happen, as a next fight in the next, before the end of the year, I would love it if there's some free agents out there that are legitimate welterweights that haven't signed with anybody that you would think would want to come to ZUFFA now because of the same reasons and how deep the welterweight division is. So Stanionis is one, Frank Martin is another one, right? So these are some names that potentially could come into ZUFFA, and those would be known names, top guys, great fights for Julian as well.
No doubt. So, I mean, I'll just add this before I pass it off to Angelo. So, I mean, at this point, I almost feel like it's almost dumb to ask a question, but I'll add a piece to the question and say, has Julian become the fighter you expected? But more importantly, has he exceeded your expectations at this point, as far as how fast it's gotten to this conversation? Or did you already kind of see the writing on the wall and expect it to catch fire this quick for him?
Is that to Angelo or to me?
No, that's to you, Dimitri, the manager. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know if you wanted to pick. I was curious to hear what Angelo would say to that, but
well, I mean we could pass it right to him afterwards. But definitely, because I'm sure you had like.
I mean, I'd be super curious to hear what you guys have to say about that as kind of independent observers. Okay. For sure, I can tell you my pieces. I mean, I did an interview. I think it was for a well-known documentary UFC guy, probably the biggest one that talks to Khabib and all these guys all the time. And I did that right as we were early January in Vegas preparing for Kane. And I'm going to repeat what I said there is that, right, we want 3 fights this year for Julian, and we wanted the 3rd fight to be basically you're fighting for the ZUFFA title, welter title. If he beat Kane the way he did, he beat James Perella the way he did, and those 2 fights pretty much didn't drop around, right? You would think that 3rd fight would either be a title fight, or if they're not ready to put the belt on the line yet for whatever reason, it would be, the thing that leads up to the title fight for the winner. So one of those names that we mentioned. And did I expect it to go this fast, this far? Yes, I did, based on the names and things. As I said, the welterweight division didn't have a lot of names at the time, so I'm like, we only got to win 1 or 2 fights against these guys, like the top dogs they have, and then we're right there. Now they're starting to bring in more guys, but again, the guys they're bringing, right? Hitchins is fighting Salas, who's one of the guys that was in the ZUFFA kind of rankings, that's fought already, that was in there. So, these guys are next.
No doubt, no doubt.
What did you guys think?
Angelo,
What did you guys think?
Angelo, what did you think? I want Angelo to answer.
No,
I
think it was Mr. Van Houter said on the panel earlier, or on the chat earlier. He said that I'm trying to find it. The right talent needs the right manager / advisor. Those guys are all getting paid right, and he was trying to say that to one of the maybe detractors on the chat. But I definitely agree with that. That Dimitri knows what he's doing. I don't want to spill too much of how good of a manager he is, but he knows he's good, and I think everybody who works with him knows how good he is, especially when it comes to the finer points of things that you should be knowing, the type of things that you should have as a fighter. So what I would say is Julian's improvements is, credit to Julian, but I definitely think that in my experience, when a fighter finds people who are believing in him, right? And someone like Dimitri believing in him so much that, as crazy as it sounds, this guy who's a manager is staying with his fighter in a fight camp, right? Which is just unheard of. Like, no manager does that. I don't think Keith Connolly's staying with Filip Hrgović during his which, by the way, that's Filip Hrgovic's biggest chance in his career. If Filip Hrgović beats Moses Itama, it upsets the entire apple cart of the whole heavyweight division. And I say that to say that shout out to you, Julian. I think it's great. You're doing awesome. You're the one putting in the work. But I definitely think that Dimitri has a lot to do with that success, in the sense that when you have someone like Dimitri believing in the fighters, and they believe in you that much, it kind of elevates your game. So now I would say right back to you, Dimitri, we're on the prove it point now, right? Like as my colleague always says, the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. Well, we're in the pudding. We're in the pudding, and I'm with you. I believe that Julian, who's now ranked number 4 at the WBA at 147, is ready to go for anybody in the top 10. I'd love to see Julian versus Hitchins, because I'm gonna be honest with you, right? And Clay always gets me about this, and some of my other coaches that are friends, they always go, "Come on, Angelo, I don't know why you don't believe in Hitchins as much as we do." But I'm into Hitchins needs to prove it to me. Ricardo Salas is no joke. You and I both know that Ricardo Salas can absolutely upset this whole New York card this Saturday. That's a 12-round fight, not a 10-round fight, right? And we already know that Salas could go 12. Can Hitchins go 12? Which is why I kept saying, no, the best fight for Hitchins would be against Julian Rodriguez. Because now we get to know two East Coast guys. You got Jersey versus New York. You get it. So are you with me on that? If Hitchins pulls it off against Salas, is that what Dimitri Popov is going to be pushing?
Absolutely. Okay. I think that'd be a great fight. You have two guys that are from the circuit. They've known each other. I think there's been some trash talk already in the past. I think I might have posted something because a journalist asked them about Hitchins, about why didn't you fight Julian or something, and then I might have posted something of or maybe I think it was a guy who does social media, and he created a little thing on Canva, I guess a flyer that says Hitchins versus Salas. If Salas wins, next Julian Rodriguez. If Hitchins win, next either Devin Haney or Julian Rodriguez. And I'm like, I'm looking at this, and I reposted him, and I said both of these guys are food for Julian. And Hitchins hit me up. He's like, "Are you sure?" He started sending me direct messages. He wants me to put money on it and bet on it. And I'm like, dude, go fight your fight. Don't be distracted. Fight Salas, win against Salas, and then we'll see. But absolutely, I think it would be great trash talk. One is New Jersey based. The other one is Brooklyn based, New York versus New Jersey. You have all of that going on. You have two styles that are great styles, very different styles, but both have defense, right? I think it would be a very good boxing match, and anything can happen. So I'd love that fight for Julian next.
No doubt, no doubt. Look, Dimitri, Cain Sandoval, that fight right there being the first fight that you guys had at ZUFFA. At the beginning of that fight, obviously they had Julian as the underdog going into that fight, but both fighters were prospects. I would say there was a conversation to say that to a certain degree. Just, I mean, whether you want to look at the experience Julian Rodriguez has had, but he's kind of had almost a reinvention of himself, right? Now that he's returned to the space with a manager like yourself and with an opportunity like ZUFFA Boxing, beating Cain Sandoval and upsetting him, but more importantly, his victory against Brandon Lee, right? Those type of victories kind of make that victory with Julian age like wine a little bit better, right? It kind of puts some real perspective, makes you want to look back at Julian Rodriguez. My question is, Julian clearly elevated on the back end of the Julian Rodriguez fight. I mean, sorry, Cain Sandoval clearly elevated on the back of the Julian Rodriguez fight. We've seen him add layers to his game. He was boxing. He was moving around. We saw Julian go into the fight with James Perella. It was a masterclass performance to a certain degree, but there was some pushback. They felt like Julian kind of took his foot off the gas. He kind of rolled through a little bit and took his victory. Was that by design, or was that more credit to James Perella, or was that by design to just have Julian Rodriguez really showcase a certain level of boxing acumen, right? To show that, okay, I was in this one fight where we was going at it crazy, but here's another fight where I'm controlling and really outclassing this opponent at that level. What do you think about the performance with James Perella?
I mean, listen, I think, first of all, right, the biggest, not to take anything from James Perella, he's a great regional fighter. He came into the fight undefeated with 21 wins, 0 losses, 15 knockouts. He'd fought in 10 rounders before and a lot of 8 rounders. But the size differential, did you see what the size differential was between these two guys? Like, you're talking about a guy who's like maybe 5'8" in Julian versus a 6'3" welterweight. Okay. And then the reach differential was like Perella has a 75.5 reach versus Julian 69. So like, you're fighting a tree, like a Bigfoot, basically. Julian has to literally jump up in the air to get to this guy. So it's a challenging fight from that perspective to kind of fight your fight with someone at that size differential. Number one. Number two, who refuses to come forward or try to win the fight. Because if you saw, Perella really wasn't, it was almost like he was like, oh, it's a win for me if I survive and don't get knocked out. So he was kind of throwing a jab, maybe a 1-2, but he was just waiting. And you could hear the coaches, if you were there, Perella's trainers were like, yeah, wait for him to come in. And once he jumps and leaves the ground, that's where, counter him and maybe get that knockout. And that was his game plan. So he was basically with Tom and Jerry a lot, and with Perella, running away and just keeping a really high guard. So he's protecting and showing himself. I think it was for that reason, it made it difficult to look the way, that Julian would have liked to look, and just kind of finish the fight sooner and make that happen. With all that said, he still knocked him down for the first time in Perella's career. And I think in the 4th round. And pretty much won every round there was to win. I don't know if Perella landed anything on him, but like I wish, and that's part of it, is like, we got to think of matchups that are matchups. It's not just about getting the W, but how you get the W. And there are certain types of fighters that, great matchmakers can put together certain fights that the fan wants to see. And I think Cain's kind of style of fighting was one that meshed well with Julian. Salas, Hitchins, those types of guys, the way they fight, I think would be an exciting type of fight for Julian.
No doubt.
Here's
go ahead.
My follow-up to this subject that you're talking about, Dimitri, is on your side as a manager, right? I understand that obviously there's the politics of what's going on. We oftentimes hear Eddie Hearn always get on his mantle and, basically, here's what's wrong, sue for this and whatever. And I look at who Julian could be fighting, and there's certainly matches that are within the region. But I think of a guy who just beat Crocker in Liam Paro. Australian. The Australians need more help. Sam Maloney already signed with ZUFFA. We know why Jai signed with ZUFFA. Could Liam Paro be someone who you as a manager could maybe talk to the guys about and go, hey, you know what? Julian would be happy to welcome Liam Paro into the league if you guys are looking into signing ZUFFA, and then right away you jump right into a world title fight. Is that something that you could even discuss with those guys? You know, can you give them ideas?
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, I think, yeah, Paro would be another one we would love. Again, he's in the top 10, and not top 5 worldwide, right? In terms of rankings, and yeah, I think they're trying to build if you look at, they're expanding more internationally. They're trying to build their European roster, UK roster, Irish roster, maybe Australia, Canada, right? There's some talk about those places, Japan, maybe, right? So as they're starting to look into other regions and they're, you know, trying to build, in addition to Jai, who else do they have for Australia, for example? That would be an amazing welterweight to bring, and we'd love that fight as well. That's the type of fight that I'm talking about, is where, you know, we're looking for whatever the next name Julian, you know, fights against is a name that not only you guys, but basically the mainstream boxing fans would have heard of, right? Mm-hmm. And consider a legitimate top 10 guy, because we need to answer this question for ourselves, for the world, right? Is where does Julian stand in terms of a title pursuit? And the only way to answer this question is to fight someone who's either holding a title, has recently held a title, or is in that level. That's the only way we're going to really find out. So let's do it, and let's not wait for it. There's no time to wait for it. There's no reason to wait for it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Dimitri, you know, it feels like it's almost like Julian's been fast tracked to a certain degree, right? Because he's just accomplished so much in so little. I feel like every fight that you guys have been in have been like important fights, right? Like you've had no tune-ups or no stay busy fights. Every fight, in my opinion, has been very impactful on the brand of Julian Rodriguez. And that being said, a progression of development that we've watched as boxing fans, from the Avius Griffin fight to the Cain Sandoval fight, which was, in my opinion, very tough fight as well. But also the level change with James Perla, just kind of showing like there's levels to this. And by the way, I completely agree with you. The height, the reach, all those X factors. I think sometimes style, it really just comes down to styles make fights, no matter how you want to break it down. And we see people struggle with Sebastian Fundora. We see people struggle with Rafael Espinosa. These awkwardly tall, long arm fighters for the division always seem to be a cheat code to a certain degree, right? But Julian showed, listen, I can adjust and I can dominate this fight. Not the fight I wanted to be, but in no way did we ever think James Perla came anywhere near beating him. So that being said, we've seen all these different versions of Julian Rodriguez in the ring. Do you believe the boxing world has finally caught up to who Julian Rodriguez really is, or is there so much more that we haven't seen from Julian? What do you think about that?
I think there's so much more, and I feel like, again, this is I'm his manager, so this is that's the manager's job. But I truly believe, from what I've seen in his training and everything, I think there's very, very few people that have a chance to take Julian down, and the names that I think are like the top of the top pound for pound guys in that division. I don't think Julian would have any issues with Hitchins. I don't think Julian, when I say any issues, I'm not saying dominating fight, but in terms of winning, I think Julian wins that fight 9 out of 10. I think Julian beats Teofimo Lopez 9 out of 10, Rolly Romero 9 out of 10. So like when I'm mentioning these types, like Mario Barrios, I think he would not struggle with these guys. Those would be good matchups, good fights. Liam Paro, all these guys, Stanionis, the guys we mentioned, right? So, but again, it's one thing, if you can beat guys like Cain or Brandon Lee or Avius, guys who themselves are in the top 20, but they've never fought in the top 10, what you're showing is you can dominate those guys. That doesn't necessarily mathematically mean that you can do that to the top 10, right? And that's where we need to be. We're ready for this. I think that from the fights that I've seen, that's the other thing, is Julian thrives on bigger fights, bigger names. It gets him going in training. It gets him going when he's in a bigger arena. And now that, ZUFFA's expanding outside of the Apex and starting to do more and more stuff as well, that's going to be also another beneficial thing for him. He's recently started working. Last time we had Sean George was as an assistant, one of the assistant trainers in the camp. This next fight, he's gonna also be co-head coach, and so he's elevated to being in a position where he's gonna run a lot of the camp. And Sean also trains Riziki and some other names, Kaniba and some other guys you might have heard of, but he's Big Bang as well, Gilles. So he trains a lot of heavyweights, but other guys as well. He's very technical type of trainer. He believes in sparring and bringing in high level sparring. And I think he's going to pull the best out of Julian. You're going to see an elevated Julian and ready for the next one, whoever he's fighting, for sure. I think that the world yet, to answer your question, hasn't discovered him as an A-lister. And the questions that I think that were posing the commentators, Max Kellerman or somebody was saying in the last fight, he's like, talking to Andre Ward, he's like, Andre, we've seen that, Julian is a very solid guy and he can beat these guys, and maybe he's a B+, but do you think he's at the level of he can beat a world champion and he can beat an A-lister guy? And Andre said, I think he's got it in him, but he's got to show it still. And again, I think that's what we got to do next, is show that, and show it to where it's recognized, not just by a few of us that are close to him, but, show it to kind of the rest of the world.
No doubt.
Dimitri, you're speaking on Sean George going into this next camp. You said he's going to have more of a co-head coach's role. My question for you is, as a manager, when you're looking at, you got 2 fights in now with ZUFFA, and Julian, I'm sure, is following all the nutrition protocols and everything else. In your opinion, is he starting to understand, like, really filling out as a 147? Because he is really he'd be like perfect at 140, right?
Yeah.
But he's fighting at 147. Now, the good news is UFCPI, like, they give you all the nutrition, they give you all the UFC Ignite meals. They do. You could call the nutritionist, like, at your beck and call every day, right? Shout out to those guys. Do you feel like, while Julian's even been off, he's starting to figure it out, like realizing himself, you know what? I'm never really going to see 140 again. So let me do more things with my body to get myself more primed at 147.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've been, the Kane fight was so the Avius fight, it was at 147. The Kane fight was a catchweight at 145, which they wanted, but I wanted 147, but they wanted as close as we can to 140. So they were like 141, 142, and we're like 147, 146. We ended up at 145. And it was because Kane was stepping up for the first time and never fought at welter before. So I think that, yeah, in terms of level up and muscling up, and with the nutritional support that we're getting from ZUFFA, as well as strength and conditioning, what we're getting over there. Honestly, that's the other part of it too, is not just like being able to buff up, get the right kind of coaching staff about him for different things to complement. And then we're getting a lot of support from UFCPI, but then we're also able to work on certain things with them and maybe draw out a trajectory of these are the things he needs to work on. And then when he's back in New Jersey, we're putting him in touch with coaches that can continue working on the same things he was working on in Vegas, and not just be like, kind of 2 steps forward and then, 1 step back. So it's been a huge help. And yeah, he's filling up more and more, working on some strength in the legs and in the core as a 147. Right? He's never going to be able to change his height. Unfortunately, he's always going to be the shorter welterweight going in there. But again, he's shown Avius was 6 foot tall. Perella was 6'3". There's not a lot of welterweights, right? That are that size. And he's shown that he can fight those guys too.
100%. No, 100%. So that being said, we're now approaching ZUFFA 9, right? And each event, that's one thing about ZUFFA. Each event seems to feel larger than the last event, right? So what do you think the fans should be expecting this time around in ZUFFA 9, right? What are you expecting? Because, you don't have a fighter in the building, but, as a manager of one of the top fighters at ZUFFA Boxing, and you're probably going to be in the building, I'm sure. I plan on being in the building, by the way. What do you think we should be expecting in this time around? They're leaving the Apex. They're going to Madison Square Garden. What are you expecting?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'd love to see you there, Clay, and connect face to face. So yeah, definitely I'll be there next Sunday or this Sunday. I mean, this is I think their biggest event to date, right? In terms of location and everything. I think it's going to be a packed house. I think that the fights are going to be amazing. I'm really looking forward to the opener, Jalil Hackett versus Sergey Derevchenko. I think that's going to be the coming out party for Jalil, hopefully, and see that. But it's not going to be an easy fight. Very legitimate veteran against an amazing prospect that's up and coming. So really want to see how that would work out. And then obviously the Hitchins versus Salas fight, maybe it's a 70-30 for Hitchins because of just the experience and the way he fights his defense. And, Salas is going to be coming forward and trying to knock him out. And Hitchins is going to dance and jump in for combinations, dance around again and use that jab. He has a very good jab. So we'll see if Salas is able to connect, and hurt him. Or if it's just going to be, some sort of a unanimous point decision by a boxer, but in Hitchins. But that one has a chance to be very interesting as well. And then the main event is going to be a banger between those two guys. Anybody can win, right? I don't think the end event is going to finish in anything but a knockout one way or the other. I don't see that fight going the distance.
Yeah, I agree with you about that, by the way, on the Steven Butler, Edgar Berlanga fight.
Yeah.
I think that's a sleeper. And I don't mean sleeper as far as excitement. I'm talking about sleeper as far as people who are just counting out Steven Butler, right? I think we're talking about somebody who has some power in his hands. I'd ask you, when you first saw this matchup announced, was there anything that immediately stood out to you in that, as far as knowing the background of a lot of these fighters, about as far as Steven Butler and Edgar Berlanga is concerned?
I just thought to myself, this is not gonna go the distance, because you have two guys with legitimate knockout power with glass chins nowadays. So when both of them are chinny and both of them have knockout power, like that is the perfect cocktail for an early finish. So I don't know who's going to win, but it's going to be exciting. I don't really have a preference in for that one. It's for sure. I was like, oh, this is going to be an exciting fight. This is going to be a knockout. So yeah, looking forward to seeing that and how they perform. I think they're going to establish, this is their first one establishing a base up on the East Coast, as in New York is right as the arguably one of the maybe 2 or 3 spots in the world that's great for boxing. Madison Square Garden being the legendary venue that is, and so seeing that relationship being established and getting more fighters. There's plenty of fighters that are already signed on the East Coast. I think Hitchins and Berlanga were talking about. I saw a podcast recently, and Hitchins was saying that Matchroom didn't move him well because they kept putting him in these fights outside of New York. And he's like, that's one of the things when I talked to Nick Khan, I really wanted was to come in and be the kind of use my platform in New York to grow me, because that's where you can really, kind of cook with gas. So I think this is the beginning of something great on the East Coast, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of those with prominent fighters over here. So yeah, really looking forward to it. What are you guys looking forward to in this Sunday fight, and what are your predictions? Let's get for the main event at least. What are you guys thinking?
I think me and Angelo are on the same page with this one. I have a feeling we are. I mean, I'll let him go, but I'm pretty sure we're all watching one specific fight more than all the other fights. I don't want to talk for him. He's definitely right here. So I'm going to let him, I have a feeling he could be more animated about this, and, for the sake of good content. Angelo. Please.
Yeah, no, I definitely think if we're just talking about the main card, everybody knows, I have a personal interest in seeing the trajectory of Jalil Hackett. I think that people just don't realize how good this kid really is. And having had a chance to see some of the footages of what the training's been like, I think that I don't want to give away too much, but everybody's going to be very surprised at the Jalil Hackett that they see this Sunday. I would definitely tune into that one so you guys can see some of the benefits of what having an entire team behind you feels like when they believe in what you can actually do. Right now, having said that, Derevchenko's training very hard. He's ranked number 7 at 168. The guy is no joke, so it's not going to be some easy challenge. But my prediction there is a stoppage, Clay. I think that I think Jaleel. I think it's going to look like how Barrera got stopped by Pacquiao. I think it's going to be one of those where the corner of Derevchenko is going to have to come up to the apron and be like, "Hey, man, we don't need to see our guy get beat up anymore. I think this is it. I think we're good. We're good. We want to move on with our ZUFFA contract. Congratulations to Jaleel. The Hitchins Salas one, I'm a lot more 50-50 than my brother there, Clay. Everybody's all high on Hitchins, but I'm telling you, Hitchins got 8 knockouts. All right. I've never seen this guy fight at 147. And I get it. He was the Haitian Olympic representative. I get all of that.
Shout out to
Salas is no joke, Dimitri. I was there to watch Salas fight live against Sriracha. Salas hits hard. That's why he's got 18 knockouts. And, just even looking at him in the press conference at the Fanatics event, he just seemed like I'm a bust this dude up, and everyboody gonna find out who I am.
He had that Duarte energy, right? Like, shut up, like he had this very, very stoic, menacing energy about him, without a doubt, that I think is going to translate to make a great fight.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think that for me, prove it to me, Hitchins. They say you're this amazing boxer. Prove it then, right? Because and I'm not even going to downgrade you. Like, I think if Hitchins loses, I still think it's a great fight between him and Julian. I think that still makes a lot of money, right? Like, I'm not going to doubt. I'm just saying that I'm at a point now where what ZUFFA does, shout out to Ryan Scalia and Chuck, everybody there who's finding these talents and signing them up, but they're finding talents for the audience to find out about. So if Ricardo Salas, win or lose, does what I think he can do to Hitchins, you guys are going to know a lot more about Ricardo Salas. And then the main event, Butler Berlanga. Look, man, I know Berlanga keeps saying he's the king of New York, but the king of New York got knocked the hell out in Queens last year. And Butler, does not. Butler's punches don't tickle, Dimitri. All right? Butler's punches don't tickle. So Berlanga on this camp better have been working on his defense, because if he decides to go toe-to-toe against Butler, he might find himself knocked out. But win or lose for Butler, I expect there to be and I'm sure Sean George probably already knows this, I expect there to be a main event Canada card in where Ryan Rosicki and Butler are both going to be a part of it, because if you watch all the UFC Canada stuff, they are pushing Butler hard, man. They're showing all his highlights. They are all about Canada. So shout out to ZUFFA and all the Canadians signing with ZUFFA. But what do you think, Clay? What do you
I mean, listen, man. How do you follow up? I kind of regret making him go first. I'm not gonna lie. As he was talking, I'm like, this is some bullshit. Come on, Clay. You know better than that. You know better than to do that. It is what it is. But listen, when it comes to the Edgar Berlanga, Steven Butler fight, yeah, man. Listen, what I believe Edgar Berlanga stops this guy. I think Edgar Berlanga had a serious wake-up call with the Hamzah Sheeraz fight. I think that really let him know that he really strayed away from, I think, which was his base, and even in the amateurs, that he has a good pedigree of boxing about him, that I think he strayed away from it. I think those 16, 17, whatever it was, straight, first round, second round knockouts, whatever they were, you get a little complacent. And I think that's what we saw with Edgar Berlanga. We watched him get complacent, and I think the fight was so one-sided with Hamzah that he had to really audit, have a conversation with the guy in the mirror. I think his team had to also get a little bit of a reality check. And I believe we're going to see a fighter who's going to showcase a lot more IQ, a lot more patience. He's going to box. He's going to move his feet. He's going to find those angles. And I think at the end of the day, he's going to find the kill shot. And like Dimitri said earlier, both these guys somewhat have a chin that can be exposed. You know what I'm saying? They can get chinny. And I just think Edgar, the athleticism, I think he's surrounded by the right people. I think he's been in the gym with Hitchins. I think they both kind of taken this new challenge of ZUFFA Boxing together. And I think they prepared each other for this one. So I'm expecting Edgar Berlanga to really have a great performance. I think it's a dangerous fight. I wouldn't be shocked if Edgar did get stopped or if the fight went the other way, but I just got this feeling, call it some intuition, call it some discernment. I feel like we got another Edgar Berlanga who's going to show up on Sunday. As far as Richardson Hitchins, my guy, you know what I'm saying? Salute to Hitchins. As far as that conversation is concerned, But this is the perfect fight, gentlemen. This is what it's all about. Zuffa and that matchmaking, right? Listen, man, ever since Hitchins fought against Gustavo Lemos, there's been this thing in the air about who Hitchins is, right? What the hell happened that night against Gustavo Lemos? He refrained from fighting against our guy. What's my Puerto Rican guy's name? Help me out here. I'm having a brain fart. Sabriel Matias, right? He said, I don't want to do no rehydration clauses. He became very select with who he was going to get in the ring with. I was aware of it, and I'm sure you guys were aware of it, that Richardson Hitchins probably should have left 140 a little while ago, right? But you do that much work in the division, you get that close to a title, you kind of want to make it, you want to get something out of it. And I think that's what happened with Hitchins, right? I should move up, but I'm almost there. I don't want to start all over again at 147. Let me get a title at least after all the work I've done here and bring something home, right? I don't want to go home empty-handed. So he kind of was playing the game where he got into being an animated voice on the microphone. He tried to do that. He started building up enemies, and he started getting a lot of criticism from the spaces like, you're doing so much talking, but you're not fighting enough, brother. So it got a little out of hand. It just was not balanced for him. We saw him get an opportunity against Liam Paro. I thought he did a great job against Liam Paro, won that IBF title. We saw him against George Kambosos, dominated, stopped George Kambosos. Devin didn't stop George Kambosos. Tio didn't stop George Kambosos, right? So once again, a little step forward, but yeah, not enough to really quell the criticism, to quell the observations that we all saw in that Gustavo Lemos fight. He had an opportunity to do with Oscar Duarte, but I was hearing from people who was around there that he was looking real sick. He wasn't, I don't think Hitchins was capping or lying about how he struggled to make weight and how he was feeling. I was hearing a lot of people who was telling me like, nah, he was walking around here looking like a whole bag of, you know what I mean, wet shit. You know what I'm saying, Paul? You know what I'm saying? For whatever it's worth. So here's his redemption. This one right here, I think we got a game opponent in Ricardo Salas here. I think if he puts on that masterclass, we saw Devin Haney go to 147, stronger, faster. We saw a reinvention of Devin Haney. I think there's a possibility of seeing this with Hitchins. Hitchins has been in there with the best. He's been in there with Tank as far as sparring is concerned. He's been in there with Shakur, right? He's been in there with the best that's out there, even from the young bulls, from even a Keyshawn Davis, you know what I'm saying? And most people in the game have spoken so highly about how much of an IQ he has in there. They put him in the conversation with Devin Haney. I know pundits in this space who feel like Hitchins is one of Devin Haney's best stylistic competitions that can be out there, but he has to prove it. I think he will. I'm looking forward to see what he does on Sunday night. Don't let me down, Hitchins. I've been talking a lot of shit. Don't let me down.
Hey, before you jump to the last one, I do want to say something I was thinking about as you were going with Hitchins is this, like, I saw somebody even in the chat was talking about Hitchins dropping dimes and talking like in the last podcast that he did, I think this last week, because they asked him that question. They said, hey, how come you didn't fight like a bigger name than Salas, like a Julian Rodriguez or like a Stanionis, I think they mentioned. He's like, oh yeah, you know, we were talking about those guys as well as Sisuku. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, as well as Elvis Rodriguez. Like all of these names were being thrown at me, and this Twitter thing happened, and I ended up picking Salas because people were, fans were saying there's no way I'm going to beat Salas. That's why I chose him. But to me, and they asked him, what are you going to do if and when you win this fight? And he's all going Devin Haney, I don't know. Like he's dropping the biggest names, right? That's Conor Ben and Devin Haney. That's who I want.
Right.
And what I'm thinking is like, not so fast, brother. Like, all right, you beat Salas. If you then can also beat Julian Rodriguez, go fight Devin Haney. Go fight the #1 welter in the world, because you just beat two guys that are, top guys with very different styles, and you were able to do that. Now you deserve and you have earned to fight the #1 guy, or get someone with a name like Ben after if Ben beats Garcia. Like those are the types of fights you can do after that. Right now, I think it's a stretch that, that he gets any of these fights. So hopefully we'll see how it goes either way, but hopefully he'll have that. And then somebody will kind of bring him down to earth and be like, listen, all right, there's one more name you got to go through. And if you can go through that name, which is Hammer Hands, then maybe you can talk about Devin Haney. So
I agree. Yeah. I agree with you 100%, man. I think one of the things that Hitchins is going to get a chance to benefit from at ZUFFA is some quality activity. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to be so selective and hold out and price himself out. And, you know, he missed out on Gary Antoine Russell. He missed out on Subriel. He missed out on some big fights. He missed out on Keyshawn Davis. He missed out on Jermaine Ortiz, right? All these fights went to shit because of the politics of the sport and his fear of that O being gone. I'm hoping that he's, you know, nobody wants to lose a fight, but, you know, he seems like he's a little bit more like confident in the worst case scenario being he loses a fight, but he still has a very good, successful career, you know what I'm saying, on the back end of it. So yeah, this is the first fight. I think some activity is what he should be aiming for. I love the Julian Rodriguez fight for the next fight. I think that should be arguably the next fight on the back victory against Asalos, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely
we want the best version of
marathon.
Hitchins too. We want the best version of Hitchins. Like that's the other, like to me, the benefit of Julian fighting him if and when you know, Salas gets, you know, if Hitchins wins against Salas, is to fight the next one against Julian would be great, because then there's no, oh, this was Hitchins' first fight at 147. He wasn't accustomed. No, brother, you just beat someone in 12 rounds at 147. You are at your peak at 147, and there should be no excuses. So when you fight Julian, you better win, because there's not going to be any excuses at that point. So yeah, absolutely. But then Clay, tell us about yeah,
well, I was just going to say, Dimitri, one more thing then. I'm feeling like that'd probably be really good for the October ZUFFA card, right? You know, October ZUFFA event, co-main event, Hitchins versus Julian Rodriguez, because, you know, you can't, I mean, I don't want to say he can't, but Julian's already done opener. He's done co-main event. Yeah. So other than either main event in New York or co-main event of a big card happening in October, maybe? You think Julian will be ready by then?
Maybe me Shakur. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not trying to say nothing, man.
Hey, listen, if Shakur's first fight is in October, November, or December, and hopefully up here in New York, New Jersey area, whether it's at Prudential or MSG or someone, that'd be an amazing co-main to have under, you know, Shakur versus someone, and then you have Hitchins, hammer hands going at it. Local guys, you know, and Julian's fought on Shakur's, you know, previous undercards twice already in his career, and they've, you know, Phil Prudential and other, like even back in the day. So I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to show up for those types of fights. That would be amazing, anywhere between October and December if it happens. So yeah, that would be great. But I was going to go back, Clay. I didn't want to, we kind of went and deviated. You were going to tell us your prediction about the main event opener this Sunday.
Jaleel, man. Yeah. Listen, man, I don't even want to, I'm going to try my best to be objective here, but we all know Jaleel has a great relationship with the show. I'm a big supporter of Jaleel Hackett, very proud of what he's been able to accomplish up until this point. I seen him in the beginning, man, and I knew he was super talented from ever since he was with with Mayweather, right? Promotions. And, you know, when he got with Eddie Hearn, I was excited for him. I thought that was a move for him. But, you know, the thing about the thing about Jaleel Hackett was that it was the weight cut. And very similar to Richardson Hitchins. And by the way, a lot of fighters in boxing go through this, right? Just not in that right weight class. I think Jaleel's found his weight class, gentlemen. I think 160 looks real good on him. He looks strong. He looks happy. And obviously the environment is conducive to him being the best version of himself as well, as far as nutrition is concerned, as far as the best facilities, and as far as having, like Angelo said, having that belief system around him. The ecosystem is great for a fighter like Jaleel Hackett. So going into this fight, we've got a hungry prospect taking one of boxing's maybe most respected veterans, right? Like, as far as hasn't gotten all the belts and done all those things, but he's fought the guys. And now Jaleel 100% is the guy getting the chance here. He's young. This guy's coming back down from 168. You know, he competed up there, but he's older. I think this is Jaleel Hackett's time, man. I want to see him have a great performance. I don't even know if I necessarily need the stoppage. I think it's very possible from what Angelo says, but I say win by any means. I don't think Jaleel Hackett and boring fight rhymes. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not even worried about this fight being boring. Fight your heart out, win this fight, and on the back end of this fight, 160 has been put on notice as far as I'm concerned. We have a legitimate contender at 160 in Jalil Hackett, and all of the big names need to look out for him at that point. That's the Amari Joneses, that's the Yohan Lee Hernandezes, right? That's the Vito Milneckis, that's Xander, who's coming over to 160, Troy Isley. All these guys can get it on the back end of the right performance from Jalil Hackett on this fight. So I'm rooting for him. I'm very confident he can do it, but he's got a tall task in front of him. A very crafty veteran, very experienced veteran. That rhymes with veteran, right? Experienced veteran. It rhymes if you close your eyes, right? So at the end of the day, he's got the tall task. And I think we could possibly be looking at fight of the night. I think they steal the show, man, from everybody on the back end of this fight, potentially. We'll see.
It's interesting you say that, right? Because I was going to ask you this, Dimitri, because you and Clay will be there. I think the entire undercard is pretty awesome. And have you guys ever watched Dominique Trap Francis before? Because he's the opening fight. He's fighting against Andres Sosa from Argentina. I think that that'll be a very exciting. I think it's super featherweight. I think they're like making an exception for that fight. Donnie, let me know if that's at 130. I think they're fighting at 130. But Dominic Trap Francis versus Andres Sosa, that's a good fight. A favorite that we've seen now, Clay. We've called this fight a couple of times. Troy Nash is stepping up because
I'm looking forward to see him too. Development. Yeah. I want to see his development. Let's get better, Troy. I know you built like that. I've been watching him ever since that Grand Prix, but I want to see more. I want to see him be a little better. I'm looking at you. I'm watching you, Troy.
So here's the thing about Troy Nash's fight, right, Dimitri? It's tough because he's fighting Ethan Perez, and I was there for when Ethan Perez versus Jacob Ramos happened, and it was a draw, right? So now Jacob Ramos falls off, and Troy Nash is like, I'll step up. I'll fight in New York. No problem. So again, the ZUFFA system working very similar to like how the UFC system works. So you got Troy Nash, who's undefeated 7-0, against Ethan Perez, who's undefeated 8-0 at 126 pounds. That's kind of tough. And honestly, Clay, that could be a fight of the night type of contender. And then they're going to introduce us to two heavyweights. The first heavyweight fight is Keyshawn Davis, 11-0. He's fighting Michal Nistor, who's 8-0. And then the second heavyweight fight is the Otto Wallen fight, who's fighting Serenko, who I think was either the finalist or won the entire WBC tournament. Remember when you were calling those 8-hour events, Clay? The WBC Grand Prix, right? So
loved every bit of it.
Yeah, there's two heavyweight fights there. And then for you, Dimitri, this one's interesting. I don't think any of these guys will end up fighting Julian, but it's 147 pounds. It's that Emiliano Moreno kid who
that's going to be another fight of the night potentially too.
Right. And he's fighting Arnold Gonzalez.
Right.
That's a good fight too. So, like I said, like if you guys are for you guys who are familiar with ZUFFA Boxing, you should definitely just turn on your Paramount Plus at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. But for you guys who are going to be there, don't be the dummies who don't show up for the first fight.
Yeah.
Be there for the first fight because every single one of those first 5 fights are bangers, in my opinion. So I don't know, man. Yeah. Fight of the night could be stolen by one of those guys.
It's either for me, it's either Moreno Gonzalez, Hackett, Derevchenko, or I mean, just off the excitement, the main event, Berlanga and you know what I'm saying? Berlanga and Butler. That's where I'm at with it as far as the ones who steal it. But what do you think? I know Dimitri's about to say something.
No, I was going to say that, you know, just to add, if there's somebody, you know, I agree with that comment. Don't show up for just the main card. I always show up from the very beginning because I don't want to miss any up and coming fighters. There's some great guys that you were watching at the beginning of openers that fast forward 2 years later are you know, they're fighting for a world championship. And you're like, oh shit, I saw that guy in one of his first fights, you know, and you have those memories, which is great. And then if you guys are anybody's that's listening to this is in the tri-state area, I think there's some tickets for like $45 up in the stands, right? Like if you, or you can drop like $110 or something and be like at a place where you're close, like in the middle bowls, kind of at MSG Infosys. And it's so much better, I think, being able to go and watch this in person if you're able to travel. So absolutely. And there's always surprises. If you looked at the last ZUFFA Boxing that was run in in the US, I think there were more upsets than what was supposed. Like there were more upsets than the winning side was supposed to winning the fight. When you look through it on box rec, it's all like red down the line, because there were so many upsets, and that makes it, I think, a lot better as a product to watch versus you show up at some, whatever promoter event and you're like, 9 fights are supposed to go this way and there was one upset. It's like every single other fight happened exactly like the A side won easily, and it's not exciting to watch that type of shit. So yeah, definitely hit this one up. Somebody was asking in the chat how the ticket sales are going, and I think they're already sold at maybe 75 or 80%.
Awesome.
And they will sell out because they just had a huge this Fanatics Fest stuff that they just did on Saturday and Friday, where I don't know if you guys watched it, but right, they had all these, they had Dana there, they had Conor Ben and Garcia announcing that fight, right? And so that freaking, I don't know how many people that thing, but that looked packed. That area where they were doing the media stuff, the press conference, it was packed. Lots of journalists. There's a lot of fans that are, maybe they hadn't heard about this before, and now they've heard about it, and they're like, we can go watch this live. So yeah, I think it's gonna sell out.
They did the right thing. Because they built off of the Ryan Garcia Conor Ben fight, right? So they put that as like, so that attracted everybody in there. It's a marketing. You already know they did a great job of. They knew everything was strategic. They knew they were going to put Ryan and Conor Ben up there. It was going to bring it in the building. And I agree with you. I think it's going to be damn near sold out. That's what I think. But
yeah. No. And Dimitri, to your point too, with the cards. So when I saw you, I think it was ZUFFA Boxing 7 that we were at. That's the one that Julian was in. No, 6. It was ZUFFA Boxing 6. That's the one that Julian was in. 4 of the 8 were upsets. So on that night, 4 of the underdogs all won, which is why it's killing the Vegas odds, man. They're being really careful now. They're like, I don't know, man. The ZUFFA card,
including 2 of the main event stuff, right? Because Shane Mosley was supposed to lose to Sergey Bohachuk, which was the main event, and then I think Katsurakis versus Misael Rodriguez was maybe a 50-50. I don't know if, but I think Misael was on the A side, right? He had already won a fight, and he was supposed to win that one. He lost that one, so it's exactly. It's like it's exciting. And listen, at the end of the day, it's MSG and Infosys, which I don't know if it's somewhere. I think it's somewhere between 4,500 and 6,500 seats. How they put it for boxing, but like around 5,000, 6,000 seats maybe. So yeah, it's not MSG 20,000, but it's 6,000 people in your first event in New York. Is not a small thing, and like you'll feel it if you're watching this, and you're like you'll hear the noise of the crowd. It will be loud, it will be great. So and don't worry about it. They'll have a MSG main worthy card pretty soon as well this year. So not worried about that.
No, that's one thing about ZUFFA Boxing, as everybody knows, and even the detractors or people who may have criticisms for about how the likeliness of ZUFFA being successful. One thing they all say is the matchmaking is what separates them. They always have great matchmaking. And even if you're not aware of these fighters, you can, at this point, I think they built up a reputation for the fights will be competitive. It's not, they will be competitive. And that's something that if you're a real boxing fan, you gotta like that, right?
You gotta like that. And I think it's going to be, again, I think they're following the successes of the UFC in that regard, and nobody can argue from a matchmaking perspective that the UFC is a worse model than what you see at Matchroom or Top Rank or anything like that, because those fights are super unpredictable. Like, just look at the last thing that occurred on the UFC side and the White House, like the main event. Like, who honestly thought Justin Gaethje was gonna beat?
I didn't.
Like, that would have been on par. That would have been on par with like what Rico Verhoeven, like winning that fight against Usyk, or having something like that happen in boxing. It would have been like, heads are exploding.
And I picked Cyril versus Pereira.
He also picked that. But that was 50-50 though.
That was 50-50 on the bets. That was just more people know Pereira. Pereira's a bigger star, but
right. Everybody thought Pereira was going to do his thing though. But it is what it is, right? Looking forward to watch the event. I know we're getting close to that time, so Dimitri, I want to leave you with this, right? The last time we spoke, we spent a lot of time discussing possibilities, right? Today, we spent a lot of time discussing the progress. So if we sit down again 1 year from now, what do you hope we will be talking about when we're talking about ZUFFA Boxing?
I think 1 year from now, ZUFFA Boxing basically is going to be the established leading boxing promoter in the world like nobody. I think a year from now, unless you're just like a hater naysayer, doesn't matter. Like if you have your eyes open, there will be some crazy people saying shit. But at the end of the day, I think 1 year from now, it will be okay in terms of no matter how you slice it and dice it, market share, number of shows, number of international shows, number of A-lister stars, pound for pound guys, no matter how you slice it and dice it, I think ZUFFA Boxing will be number one of all the promotions. I think it will be, I think boxing would have, as a result of what ZUFFA is doing as well as others, would move up in terms of mainstream, and the number of people that are like tuning in for boxing, the biggest boxing events will be significantly higher than what we've seen in the past couple of years. So if boxing is right now the 14th ranked sport in terms of viewership in the United States, I think boxing will be in the top 10 in a year from now. So it will make that grow versus other sports. And I feel like, again, that the biggest names that between now and then, become free agents or are available to sign will all be signed with ZUFFA pretty much. That's what I think. The only guys that won't be signed with ZUFFA are guys that are like on multi-year contracts with somebody else and not available, and one or two guys per promotion that are stars maybe that, that are just like, they know we can't lose this guy because the whole thing goes down. So they'll just throw crazy money at that one guy to retain him. But I think everybody else will make the same move Shakur just made.
Yep. You're muted, by the way, Clay. I don't know why, but
I did because I didn't want my background sound to get wrong. But Dimitri, oh, you about to say something?
No, I was just gonna say I agree with everything that you're saying, Dimitri. And yeah, man, I think that the year's not done yet. We're only at the halfway point, or the halfway point just began now. So as Dana White always says, Clay, judge me on January 1st, 2027.
That and anything is possible, right?
Anything is possible.
Dimitri, man, I always appreciate you joining us, man. It's always great every time. Thank you for stopping by the show, man. We'll be watching closely to see what's next for Julian Rodriguez and for ZUFFA Boxing. Thank you for coming up here, ladies and gentlemen. Dimitri Popov.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dimitri. Until the next one, man. Talk to you soon, brother. That was fun. That was fun.
Dimitri's always a fun talk. It's a fun talk. I wish you guys could be just everybody who's listening to the show. I wish you guys could just see some of the things that's happening behind the scenes, right? Because a lot of times I think that everybody is trying to get their information from like too many spaces, Clay, that I'll say is skeptical. I guess that's the fair thing for me to say, right? So you'll go on a show like the Boxing Voice, and at ATP Combat, it's like it's normal talk for us to talk about ZUFFA Boxing because we're just talking about boxing in general, right? To Agent Zero's point from earlier, when you say, well, don't talk about the traditional space of boxing, which I think is kind of funny, but it's just boxing in general. Like we're just talking boxing all around anyways, and what's going on in the world of boxing. And even Bill Haney today, if you guys catch him on his appearance of the Boxing Voice, I just find it funny, Clay.
He popped up?
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing is, Bill, listen, man, and you can talk to Ness about this. You need to come on this show. So finish making that announcement, and then come on over to the ZUFFA Boxing channel. No, I'm just messing, Clay. And, come on over so you can talk to us about all this. I just find it funny that he keeps holding people on the string, and it's like, look, man, we already know what you're gonna do, so just do it already. Stop messing around, bro.
He's a pro, man. He does it. He does it the best, man. I mean, right now, as far as managers are concerned in the space, he's top 3 You know what I'm saying? He's there, man. He's just done so many great things with Devin in particular. I think the one shot you maybe could throw at him is that he's not been able to replicate it with any other fighters, right? He hasn't been able to pick up another fighter and do it. But as far as exclusively with Devin, A1 job. A1 job, man. Really put his son on the map where it needs to be. So it is what it is, man. I kind of know that's what it is. I mean, even today, if I would have been on the show, I was running around doing what I had to do.
I wish you would have been, man. I wish you would have just looked at him in the face.
I got shit to do. And that's the day he shows up. You know, I mean, you can't make this shit up, right? But yeah, I would have definitely loved to have a conversation with him and definitely would have pressed him a little bit, you know, very politely, very respectfully. I would have pressed and, you know, try to get as much as I can. Like, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you know, if there's a percentage here, it's a 50-50 situation at this point as to whether or not it will be Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis. I think the zone part of the conversation has made it interesting. I think now that the zone is getting involved with giving out these deals, you know, to T.O. and what we've heard, they had the history with Shakur and Richardson Hitchins. That's more than likely there's a conversation happening, right? Some sort of a conversation is happening. I would put my eggs in the basket of multi-fight deal. And I know when it comes to a multi-fight deal, it makes Bill is very apprehensive at that topic. He doesn't like multi-fight deals unless he really, really knows it's going to pan out the way he wants to pan it out. So I think that's probably what's going to move the scales here for Bill as far as what direction he goes into. Will it be a multi-fight? Zuffa's coming the same way, by the way. But I mean, I think there's also a good chance if he wants to have a one-off at Zuffa over at the zone, right? Like the zone is more than likely to be like, no, we need the multiple fight deal. Zuffa's the one who'll probably be like, oh, if you really like the one off,
sure, man.
We'll give you the one off, right?
Yeah. No, they're not tripping because again, I think that what I don't know how many more times we have to repeat it, Clay, because I feel like we do it on almost every show. But since today's Zuffa Tuesday, how many times have you guys already? I've said it, you've said it on the other channels because you know I don't be going on those, but the audience is not the hardcores. The audience is the casual fan base. So do you think Zuffa gives a good god darn if they sign Devin to one fight? They do not care. They will go, sure, Devin, if that's what makes you happy, we'll do one fight. You versus, whatever. You versus Shakur, one fight, no problem. Boom. And then what happens? What happens is what Conor Benn just did. One fight deal for Netflix, and now Conor Benn's with the company because Conor knows what's good for his career. So it's 100%. The same thing, man. It's the same thing. But to your point, Clay, the other group, the zone, right? They're trying to protect what's left, which is why for all you guys who keep hating on Zuffa, then you better be paying that $50 a month. you better do it because they're disappearing faster than what you think, right? So pay $50 this month so you can get Pranga versus Joshua and the rest of those undercards. And unless you want to pay whatever $75, I think it is on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's not just this month. That's not how it works. You got to pay for the year. So,
right.
It's not available just to pay 1 month, get a bunch of events, and then go back into where you want to go into. It is what it is, man. I'm watching it play out. You know what I mean, and I'm sitting back because I know I can't lose. As a boxing fan right now, I'm not as picky as some boxing fans are because I know I'm watching it all. Right, so. Wherever you end up, Bill, if you go end up at the zone, I'm excited for you, brother, because there's some great fights that are there to be made. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the fights. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, if you come over to Zuffa, we're going to celebrate that as well because, it just means that you have a money machine behind you that's going to be able to facilitate some of the biggest fights. And I know one thing about Devin for sure. I'll say like this. I believe this about Shakur, but I know this about Devin. And what I know about Devin is he's fighting the best fights that he can make. He has not fought a tune-up since Jose Ramirez, right? And that was understandable, right? It was a year off. He did the right thing, but Devin ain't trying. All his fights are significant and impactful to his legacy. That's the reputation he's earned with me. So I'm never worried about that with Devin. And even with Shakur, though, I believe that's who he is, but I believe he's had to make those kind of fights happen. I believe he's been put in those situations to where the big fights don't want to fight him. And he's had to fight a Josh Padley. He's had to fight, because Floyd Schofield gets sick.
Right.
right?
Right.
He's had to fight, you know what I mean, a Haratunian, you know what I'm saying? Because he
Right.
can't make a big fight. He can't get a Lomachenko. He can't get a Tank. He can't get, you know what I mean? I know in a perfect world, he would have made all those fights happen, but now he has a machine behind him. I'm looking forward to see how that plays out. Like I said, as a boxing fan, I got nothing to complain about, Angelo.
Yeah, and as a boxing fan, Clay, how are you feeling about this? So here's this weekend. We got ZUFFA Boxing coming up on Sunday. Saturday, it's kind of weird because it is on Australian time and Saudi time, but they're trying to make it manageable for American time. So pretty much covers like the afternoon of Saturday. Are you going to do a whole watch party from like
I'm not going to be here this weekend. I'm going to be in New York.
Oh, that's right. You're just going to be in New York anyway. It's going to be
easy for me. Yeah, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to try to catch as much. I'm going to try to catch as much of what's going on, the whole experience from the weigh-ins to the grand arrival, whatever that looks like. Whatever's going on this weekend, I'm trying to be there. Be there to catch all of that, right?
That's awesome.
So it's easy for me. I mean, but as far as speaking on the fights, on the Errol Spence fight in particular, right? Is this the same weekend as the AJ fight too?
Yes. It's a Saudi. Yeah. So that's one of the discussions that's happening on the, like, if you listen to some of the other like casual programming spaces, we were talking about just combat sports in general, but they're all saying the same things that everybody else is saying, which is it's hard to know how many eyes are going to be on Errol Spence versus Tim Tszyu and Anthony Joshua's fights because of the paywall. It's like a double paywall, right? Versus the Paramount Plus card. Everybody's just going to see that because also like Garcia is supposed to be there. Conor Benn's supposed to be there. So they're like throwing all kinds of different stuff to the Saturday card. Hence why Dimitri talked about the VIP experience. There's the VIP experience for people who want to pay that money to go sit in on ZUFFA Boxing 9. So yeah, man. But yeah, it is a big boxing Saturday card, or it's big. Pretty big. I mean, don't you think it's pretty big?
I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna be somewhere catching that AJ fight, whether it's the replay or whatever, how that goes. I want to catch the card. I want to see Hamzah. I want to see Josh Kelly. I do have my young bulls that I'm keeping an eye on. I want to see Muhammad Al-Akel. I want to see Nishant, right? Def. I want to see these guys, right? But I'm definitely not out here soliciting or pushing on anybody to go and pay some absurd pay-per-view price to go watch the fight. But I will be watching boxing that weekend for sure. As far as the Errol Spence fight is concerned, I have a feeling, Angelo, the Errol Spence Tim Tszyu fight's going to be a fight of the year candidate. I've been thinking about it. I got a feeling, man. I think, listen, man, everything is cooking in the air right now. Tim Tszyu needs this opportunity. He's been wanting to fight Errol Spence for a long time. He thought Errol would have been in the 154 division time around the time of Terrence Crawford. He wanted to see, he thought Errol would be there. I think it's a fight he knows, man. This is like Mortimer, we're back, right? Like if he beats Errol Spence, right? If he beats Errol Spence, this is a big opportunity for him. And even in the way you're hearing him talk about this fight, he's like, I don't know how Errol's looking at this. I know this is the biggest opportunity in my life. He said, this is not a regular fight for me. He said, that's not what this is. I am 100% dialed in. I'm super stoked. And I know how much I need a fight like this under my belt, based off of where I fell from, the grace that I've fallen from, right? Ever since that Sebastian Fundora fight that went left on him, it ain't been the same for Tim Tszyu. And with Errol, let me tell you something, man. People are questioning a lot of things about Errol, and I get it. I think they're fair criticisms or observations, right, about what we're dealing with. But with Errol, one thing I know for sure, for certain, for me, what I believe is, if you try to fight Errol is going to fight you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? If you try to fight Errol is going to fight you. He's not bending the knee. He's not running away. He's not giving up. That's just not the Errol Spence that I know. So that being said, even if Errol going into this fight isn't as motivated as he needs to be, a very fiery, motivated Tim Tszyu will bring something out of Errol that I think at a bare minimum, Angelo, gives us a fight that we'll be talking about on Monday morning, Sunday morning, or whatever, however the time frame works. You know what I'm saying? We'll be talking about it. I just have a feeling fight of the year potential candidate. Both these guys just don't got it in them. to be boring. And I think as soon as somebody pushes the button, as soon as somebody goes too far, like Devin Haney said, and I'm going to give Devin Haney props because he quoted it from fighters before him, but he's the last guy who showcased this. If you violate, we going to demonstrate.
Okay.
And I think that's what we're going to see.
All right. Hey, man, I really hope you're right. I really do, because I know that Jermell Charlo not being able to be a part of the card hurts the card, whether you guys believe me or not, it does. On a commercial value, it does. And the paywall, it's too high, man. Like I mean, even Amazon, like if they were just smarter, they could have just made it like $30. But fuck, they're just making it too much for the regular fan base or for regular people. So at the end of the day, man, I hope you're right, and I hope that many eyes watch it. I just don't think there's going to be that many viewerships to this fight because of that paywall, unless you're already subscribed to the zone. So again,
yeah, I think that's going to play out the way that I think, and we say it over and over again. And shout out to the zone. You know what I mean? The moves they're making has been just so impactful, man. I'm so excited about how they've been moving, and just the mentality and the philosophy over there has changed or has evolved so much.
Yeah, that CEO for sure is holding the reins. Like,
he's like,
we're not doing that fight. We're not doing that fight.
He's just involved. He's just involved in the conversation in such a different way that you gotta be like, damn. Well, even with them signing Teofimo, the idea behind that for me is something that I don't think people are talking about enough, right? Like the zone did that. Like they signed Teofimo Lopez to an exclusive deal. They tried to do that with Shakur. They tried to do that with Richardson Hitchins. They're getting hands on, ladies and gentlemen, and that's an exciting thing to also see happening. But I do think one of the things they're going to have to address is that paywall. I think that paywall is something you guys got to figure out. You got to figure that out. That's something that I think right now they're in a build the value stage where they're like, all right, well, we just brought PBC. Let's see if we can put together some of the biggest fights we can. Let's see if that carries it over. I don't know. I'll tell you this. Anthony Joshua and Berlanga, is that his name? Berlanga?
Yes. Yeah. See, you don't even know his name, and they're making you pay for that shit.
I was going to say, that's not it. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, start there, right? Start with scratching these pay-per-view fights that are not pay-per-view fights. Start there. Make every pay-per-view fight a legitimate, you know what I'm saying, pay-per-view fight. And then maybe we can have a different conversation that makes a little bit more sense at that point. We can start talking about the paywall, whether it's worth it, whether it's not worth it. But right now, I can tell you right now, based off this year, and I pay it, but knowing that you guys are locking in people for a whole year, you're not giving them an opportunity to go month by month.
Right.
I don't think this paywall is as successful next year when a lot of these people's contracts expire. I don't think a lot of people are going to come back to that paywall again, because I don't think you guys delivered that many quality pay-per-views for the money this year. I don't think you did it. I mean, the year's not up, but we'll see. We'll see.
No, and the other thing too, Clay, and I've heard you say this outside of the show, on all the other channels, but this pay-per-view model that it's dead, man. The TNT deal that the zone is doing. So if I'm a consumer and you're going to show me once a month for free anyways, as long as I have cable TV, whether it's DirecTV or Xfinity or whatever, because I have TNT as a channel from back in the NBA TNT days anyways, I'm getting that fight anyway. I'm getting the Lamont Roach versus William Spada event on TNT anyways. I just got Abdullah Mason versus Albert Bell on TNT anyways. I'm about to get Damian Kaneva versus Andy Ruiz on September, right? So if the zone keeps doing that for TNT, all you're really doing, honestly, is hurting people like Errol Spence or Anthony Joshua, because less eyes are going to watch it. They're going to look for the highlights. They're going to look for the social media impressions for it, but nobody's going to pay it. So you're right, Clay. They need to figure out a way of what's the direction? What's the direction the CEO wants to go, right? I'm good with you buying fighters, but putting a paywall behind Teofimo versus Rolly Romero actually puts less eyes on that event. It doesn't put more eyes on that event. It puts less eyes. So how can you bridge the gap? How can you close it down to where, all right, man, we're just not going to do that to you guys anymore, because we do want the zone to grow in the U.S. And really, that's actually my question back to you now, Clay, is that this Paramount DAZN deal is such a, and we, again, you guys should check out the video that me and Clay did. It was episode 13 on the video section, but we discussed it. The Paramount working with DAZN. So DAZN is going to show UK, Ireland, which doesn't hurt their brand. It actually helps their brand,
Right.
because that's their biggest audience. But Paramount in the US becomes even bigger. In fact, so big, Clay, that UFC Noche, they announced it yesterday. UFC Noche was September 12th. They didn't move the venue and they didn't move the fighters. What they did is they moved the time. Paramount Plus was like, here's what's going to happen that day. You guys are going to get to watch UFC Noche in the daytime and then switch over to ZUFFA Boxing starting at X time so that you don't miss any of the Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn 8-fight event that we're doing. So see, even them like having that. So having said that, what's Eddie Hearn now? What's the strategy for DAZN now to keep it relevant in the US? Any thoughts on this one?
That's the uphill battle that, I mean, we're talking about DAZN, man. You know, and I always start off by giving them their flowers for what they've changed. Like I said, the philosophy's clearly changed over there as a platform. But, you know, I don't know if it's too little too late is the point of the conversation, or if it's just a lot of work to be done, right? And shout out to my Aki, Assalamu alaikum, Flyer Frequency says Paramount and DAZN are working together now. Well, they're working together now, Flyer, for the Conor Benn Ryan Garcia fight, right? This is their first event that they're doing together. Are they exclusively working together now? No, they don't have a contract where we're going to be expecting nonstop. But this is an experiment that on the back end of it, if it works out very well, I would not be shocked to continue to see things like that happen. As far as the American space is concerned, I mean, clearly Dana White, ZUFFA Boxing, that's what they're aiming at. They're looking to take American boxing and put it back up there. That's their mission statement. That's part of the whole conversation. That's what's going on. The zone wasn't really built for that. It wasn't made for the American space. Now, with Eddie Hearn signing the Raymond Fords, the Zaquin Moseses, the Jerron Boots Ennises, you know what I'm saying? And he's tried with Jalil. He tried with Richardson Hitchins. You know what I'm saying? He's got these fighters that he's clearly been trying to tap into the American market. And this is his second time really going at it. He tried to do it early and he kind of got shut down very early when the whole app was getting criticism. He was able to pull Canelo and get Devin, but he wasn't able to really hit the American market that way. PBC really had it on lock for the most part at that time. Now he's going at it again. He's definitely more successful this time around than he was the first time around. But they've had to attack this in a different way. But I can tell you, the paywall is not helping the American space as far as American space is concerned. You don't have that reputation yet with the space to put that paywall up and make it make sense. Granted, you're doing a good thing, which is the American boxing space has always been complaining about the across the street politics. So you attack that well, and that's what's up. But the pay-per-views haven't delivered as far as in comparison to what they're doing with the paywall. And people are complaining about it across the space. So, man, I don't know, man. I don't want to say it's too little too late, but I'm going to say there's work that needs to be done. Clearly, man, there's definitely work that needs to be done. I think I saw a Good Buddy in the back. My bad, Good Buddy. We were in the middle of a conversation. I couldn't pull you up. He went away. He'll come back. He'll come back, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, Good Buddy's great. Good Buddy's great. Good Buddy might be on ZUFFA Boxing 9 in New York, actually. So that should be a fun. That should
Why?
Be a fun
He's
time.
from New York?
I thought he was. I thought that's
he's
what.
from the West Coast.
Oh, is he? Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. I thought Good Buddy is in New York. All right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And
Donnie's
saying, it's getting more expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, dude, it's 35 now. Damn.
Yeah, which is not, and that's not the ultimate package, right? That 35 is the actual regular package. So they have to, yeah, man. Without a doubt, I think with this fight with Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia, I believe Paramount benefits more than the zone does, right? Because I think Paramount is really giving the product to the American space. The zone isn't, right? Like they're not giving. Paramount's really for a low $9.99, $13 a month, whichever tier that you're in at. You're getting that event, and that's a big event, man. There's going to be a lot of production that goes into that, a lot of marketing going into that. that event is going to be an experience more than anything. And I think people aren't able to really wrap their mind around the idea of a fight being built around an experience rather than one fight.
Right.
If that makes any sense,
Right.
right?
Well, even just that week, Clay, that's opening week for us here in Vegas for Raiders versus Miami. You know,
Right.
so yeah. Hey, Akeem.
Akeem, what's good, brother?
What's up, guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Good to see you. Good
man.
spirits. How's the weather treating you out there? I know it's storming a little bit on the East Coast in certain places. How's it looking?
Yeah, it's a little cloudy out here. I'm trying to beat the rain. You know, I'm on my way to work.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you, man.
Great interview. I always forget to ask those questions, but I always wanted to know, like, you know, Hitchins' trajectory, and to hear Popov talk about, well, let's slow down. If you survive this fight, and we're looking at Hammer Hands and possibly whoever else before you can start talking about a Devin. You know, so that's because realistically, man, I really like Hitchins because of his it's a simplistic way of boxing. It doesn't match his personality. Coming from New York, you would think he would be like super showboat, but nah, he has this disciplined style of boxing. And it's balanced. But the problem is his activity. So when I think when he's calling out these guys, bro, he's marketing himself. He's not doing anything different from what Keyshawn was doing.
Right.
Someone gave him the scoop and was like, bro, moving forward, now that you got traction, you have to hold this momentum and move forward. Like, we're not gonna hold your hands through the whole thing. So he's getting on different shows. Everybody is trash if you're gonna ask him. But if you're gonna
he's
ask
such a
him,
character, bro. I just had to laugh because it's true, man. Everybody's trash. Everybody's a bum.
The only one he didn't play about was Boots. He was like, nah, his hits hurt. I felt them. But he said, I'll fight him though.
Right.
If it come to it, I'll fight him. But yeah, so now that he got his money situation right, and truth be told, that sounds like the story of all of these boxers. We getting annoyed with Shakur, but his money got right. Now we could play. Devin is he's always about getting his money. All of these guys are seeing what ZUFFA has to offer, and now the other side of the fence seeing what ZUFFA has to offer, and now they're bending left. You know, they're being more flexible. So I think we were in the time of cutting the fat, tying everything down, and let's get these financials right. Even in the promotion world, like their thing was all over the place when ZUFFA started shaking it up. So I think this year it's a building year where it's gonna look more linear next year. Like, and I'm excited. I think everybody's excited. We're just impatient. And, you know, they're asking us for money or paywalls, and we just want to see the best product. But it's cooking. It is cooking. And we can't deny that. I've been sitting here listening to you guys week in, week out. It sounds like it's cooking, and it's going in a direction that's going to make everybody happy if y'all just wait.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, and you know, anytime you hear people criticizing ZUFFA right now, they're always comparing it to the biggest shows, right? And I think that's a compliment to a degree, but it's also not very realistic, right? So they'll go and they're like, well, ZUFFA Boxing, what have they done? You know, they ain't give us the biggest event. Where's a packed out event? Where's a big arena? Where's it's like, bro, are you serious? It's 7 months into it. You're not looking it through the right optics. You're not looking at through the right lenses, and it's never going to meet those expectations. But then again, you know, when you're trying to tear it down and you want it to be a failure, then you go straight to the top and you compare it to the biggest killer in the building. But I always tell you guys, And I tell them whenever these people come with those arguments, I go, it's a compliment. Well, I'm not complimenting them. Yes, you are. You're comparing them to the absolute pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? You don't compare Pro Box to Tiafimo versus Shakur Stevenson. I never heard one of you guys going like, yo, Pro Boxing, we're the bigger. I never heard that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you guys know what it is for a startup company to grow in a space in comparison to a staple traditional company or a platform like DAZN, who's been around for what, 20 years? I don't know how many years they've been around building this momentum to getting to this point right now. And if that's the way you guys want to approach it, so be it. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's a compliment weaved into there. You know what I'm saying? Which is, better than to compare it to the people you probably should be comparing it to, right? Yeah, better than to do that.
Yeah, no, Akeem, the other thing I'll add to it too is, again, it has to do with vision, right? So if you want to talk about ZUFFA Boxing and you are, I'll even if you're in the hardcore boxing space, I'll call you a casual ZUFFA Boxing fan if you're still trying to figure it out. But take a look at what they did to the UFC. And I bring that up because this weekend, what I saw with my own eyes was I saw Carson, California, in Diego Pacheco fighting, and that arena was not packed. It was actually sadly empty at times. But by the time it got to the main event, it was what it was. And then I saw the Pro Box event, which was in San Bernardino. That barely had anybody in the crowd at all for the majority of that whole event, right? And then in Oklahoma City, Akeem, sold out, where the Oklahoma City Thunders play, sold out event for a UFC fight night, bro. And the main event was two guys from Africa. Brother, that's the vision, all right? The vision is ZUFFA Boxing 100 at some point when we say ZUFFA Boxing 100 this weekend. You're going to have two dudes fighting, not even from this country. And that whatever the arena is, it's going to be a sold-out arena because there's a whole plan they're trying to set up, Akeem. There's a whole plan. Just got to be patient, man. Got to be patient.
You see, Terrence is was in Japan. Terrence, Boxing.
And people don't know, they don't get that whole entire Terrence tour. I think that's going to play out in a way that people don't think it is. But Terrence is definitely on tour right now. He is everywhere. Tanzania, Japan, Australia. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's everywhere. So people can look at that as they see fit. TNT has brought him on to their platform. He's not with his own. He's with TNT.
Oh, wow.
Where TNT is, he'll be there when it comes to boxing. Keep that in your mind as well. Yeah, man. And I love what Angelo said as far as the idea behind numbering the events, that we're on number 9 now. And when you look at the UFC, who's like, what, 329, 330, whatever number they're at, that's the goal, right? With ZUFFA Boxing is for, what does ZUFFA Boxing look like at ZUFFA Boxing 50, 60, 100, 110, 20, 150. You know what I mean? It's a marathon. It's not a race with the whole entire business model of this business model. And I think that's what people are looking at. So you're trying to judge him. You're trying to judge ZUFFA 8 off of Golden Boy 556. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the reality is it's already smashing on Golden Boy 556. Now the only thing left for you is to compare it to the actual whole entire zone. You know what I'm saying? A situation, which is, like I said, a compliment is weaved into there, even though that's not what you're trying to do, but it does kind of speak to the impact and the level that you're putting them at. Go ahead.
I knew the impact when Hirsch fought Merriweather. When they got online to begin the week, I'm not sure if it was like the Monday or the Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And that whole argument went on with Hirsch Sr. and I want to say Hamzah that he calls in on TBV, but he's plugged into boxing too. So I think Hamzah was in Hirsch's corner and Merriweather's father was online the next day, and they were going back and forth talking about the tension was so high for these prospects, and everybody was so engaged. It was like, bro, these aren't even the cream of the crop.
Mhm.
Y'all like this. Stop acting like y'all don't like this.
It is what it is, Akeem. It is. Hold on here. Leonard Sterling with the £5 says, regarding Amazon Prime pay-per-views, I think the zone decision is a clever move. They saving some ultimate tier subscribers monies. It's 3 so far, $225 saved. Yes, I think in comparison to Amazon Prime, they're competing. Yes. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like Amazon's going to be getting out the boxing game soon because the PBC's over there with the zone. I don't know what that's going to look like for them. But it's not competitive. I don't think it's forward thinking as far as where boxing is headed. I think it's still competing in a space that's kind of like, version 1 of something that's at version 3, 4 right now. You know what I'm
Is
saying?
Amazon and Paramount not in? Is that not Jeff Bezos?
No.
Amazon
Jeff
and
Bezos
Paramount?
is not. That's Amazon streaming app. They're not together. I don't know. Maybe. I don't think so.
Because
But
I was thinking maybe they was switching one, like, we're gonna keep Amazon doing this, but Paramount is going to, move forward with the boxing. I thought they were the same guy, but I could be wrong.
yeah, I think that I think we just got a lot to watch, man. There's a lot that's going on right now, and most of our conversation is going to be around speculation, as it should be. Good buddy Taylor in the building, man. Good buddy. What's good with you, fam?
Hey, I was just about to start talking. You know what I think be dope as hell? Because I was sitting you listening like, what was you saying earlier? I don't know, amongst the topic, I think they should fight more tomato cans. I think the boxers should fight way more. All we hear about, I sparred this person and I sparred this person. Fuck it, put those fights on TV. Let us see you knock this person out you claimed you sparred, and then put the big ones on pay. That's what you was talking about, putting fights that were actually worth pay-per-view on pay-per-view. Maybe we can see all these little bum-ass people. My bad. It's such a habit. It's such a habit. Especially after I listened to Richardson Hitchins talk on that interview. You hear how stupid he is? That man's so stupid. Hey, he went on there. Didn't he say he had food poison? And now he talking about what he say? Oh, he looked too strong. You from New York and you just said another fighter looked too strong. He about to get his ass whooped. I want to see it to get knocked out. I hope Silas beat the shit out of him. Hey, did you know he not even American? He not even black. I just found out he wasn't black like 2 days ago. He fought for Haitian in the Olympics. I don't care if he get knocked out no more. I'm not even cheering for Haitians. I'm going for Silas. I hope Silas beats the shit out of him. But no, hey, that would be a good ass idea, don't you think? What if we start in Mexico? They fighting all these bums, right? What if we start getting Sugar Ray Robinson had a pad? He fought 100 fights. 80 of those fighters wasn't no good. I promise you. You think all 80, all 100 of them fights was good? Or what about Julio Cesar Chavez? You think all 100 of them fight people that he fought was good? I just think we need to see him fight more of the bums.
Listen, buddy, I don't disagree with you. Here's the thing. A lot of people are complaining about putting the best fights on TV. But you remember HBO was showing the fights that you're talking about in the weekdays, right?
Yeah,
and
Friday
everybody
night
was cool with that.
Yeah.
Like the little tune-up fights, or Floyd Mayweather, these dudes will have a championship fight and then they will go and have a tune-up or 2 tune-ups before they go again. Now everybody has a problem.
I'm just saying, let's see him fight everybody. I want to see all of them. Fuck, if we gonna watch these free fights, you want to put the ones on pay-per-view, let me see you beat all these bums, and then when you fight the elite, I pay you $100. You fighting them anyway, you're always... Javante Tate Davis don't want to fight at all. He probably got like 1,000 spars, 300 amateur fights. What if you take some of them spars and just add those in the pro matches? Boom, now y'all both getting paid.
But that's what ZUFFA is doing to a degree.
ZUFFA just ZUFFA, bro.
Nah, they're doing that to a degree. You getting regular fights that you could deal with on a Sunday.
Those fighters ain't. Hey, Dana is bringing prize fighting back into prize fighting. Every one of them talking about, bro, I want that prize at the end. I want the fight of the night. I want the knockout. You don't be listening to them interviews? Hey, that boy Shane Mosley Jr. came in there and said, this is what power boxing is. They fighting. That's why I think Hitchins gonna get knocked the fuck out. And he's not even American. He's not even American. Fuck Hitchens, bro. That was some bullshit he
shout out
did.
to Richardson Hitchins. I'm Haitian. Richardson Hitchins Haitian. You know what I'm saying?
Where were you born? Where were you born?
Haitian,
I was born here. So was Hitchins. Hitchins born here in America.
How does he fight for Haiti then?
I think he just chose to, but I think he's born here. I don't think he's born in Haiti. He's born here. I'm pretty sure.
But I thought if you was born in the country, you had to fight for that country.
Let me check. Let me check right quick. Let me check.
Like, how does those rules work? Because I know some Mexicans won't fight for the Olympics because they will have to fight for America.
Hey, I don't.
So they won't fight for USA, so they turn it down. Like Mikey Garcia did that shit. He didn't want to fight for America because he's Mexican. Am I wrong?
Hold on, you might be right. Hold on.
I don't care. He quit anyway. He admitted to not fighting because he was scared. That's some bitch ass shit. My bad. Can I say that?
He was born in Brooklyn. Yeah, he was born in Brooklyn, New York.
That interview he did.
He was born in Brooklyn, New York, bro. Brooklyn, New York,
He wasn't
bro.
scared. The Duarte thing, he wasn't
September
good.
He said, hey, listen to that interview. He said he looked too strong. He said, you know somebody when they drank, and he wasn't drained at all, and I felt like I was weak, and he looked strong. And then he went on to start talking about Keyshawn Davis. He said, Keyshawn Davis got a silver medal. He can say we don't. He get excuses. Keyshawn get a couple of them. You don't get nothing. You already a halfway plumb.
Buddy,
his way to fame is dancing with Javante Tank Davis. I know you want to
remember
it is what it is, but I do want to get away from all the antic screaming and everything right now because I do want to get into some other conversations a little bit. So I'm gonna ask Good Buddy to bring it down to room temperature. Let's bring our inside voice into the conversation so we can
can't stop yelling. That's how I talk.
I know, but I've heard you talk differently. I'm not saying you got to bring it down all the way, but I just need to be able to move the conversation forward. That's what I'm saying, right? So that being said, right, Richardson Hitchins, I know your opinion on that one, right? But we got other fights on the card as well, and I'm really interested in your opinion on the Jalil Hackett Sergey Derevchenko fight. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the most impactful fight on the card. I think that fight makes a big difference in Jalil Hackett's career if he's able to pull this off. A lot of people feel like he's jumping a little too far forward. They be like, damn, bro, Derevchenko ain't nothing to play with. I mean, obviously on the channel, we think a little bit differently about that, but I'm interested in your opinion on that fight, Jalil Hackett versus Sergey Derevchenko.
I got to do a lot more homework on it, but so far from what I've known about the styles, just thinking about these styles, I actually think, I don't know because he goes strong. And Jalil Hackett's been showing he gets hit a lot lately. Like, I haven't met his style has been like, I don't know. I got to do more homework. I feel like he should be able to do it with his boxing abilities. I feel like he should. I don't know, though. I don't know. I got to do my homework. I feel like Derevchenko, how you say his name? Because I'm bad with the names.
What are you talking about? Sergey Derevchenko.
Derevchenko. Yeah. I feel like he's strong. I feel like he's strong. And the way Jalil Hackett be getting hit sometimes, I don't know yet. I gotta watch how he move, his interviews, the way he is. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not comfortable with it myself. Mm-hmm. I mean, in a way, I just feel like from Derevchenko to do, I just feel like he's strong. Every time I think of him, I just think he's strong. Them Russians be coming in, they some big dudes and they can take hits. And just being able to box and trying to stay away, that shit don't be working sometimes. Sometimes you got to learn how to stand in there and fight. And some of them know how to cut the ring off and get into you so well. And then, you know, he's been through, trying to think, what was the last fight? I'm really bad with names. You put me on the spot with this. I haven't been prepared to talk about him.
Good buddy. Let me give you some intangibles for you to take into consideration, right? And then you let me know what you think about these intangibles. One of the intangibles I'm going to bring to the forefront is the age difference, right? Obviously, Sergey Derevchenko is up around 40 years old. Jalil Hackett's in his early 20s, right? He's a guy who's literally on the verge of going from prospect to contender at this point. Number two, Jalil Hackett's gone up in weight to 160. He's filled in very well at 160. He's a strong 160 pounder, very dangerous fighter at 160. Most 160 pounders have not, you know, he had a hard time making a fight happen to get the Sergey Derevchenko fight because a lot of those guys don't want to jump in the ring with him because of how dangerous he is. Derevchenko is coming down from 168. So he's doing a big weight cut for himself at damn near 40 years old. He's doing a big weight cut to come back down to 160. He was not a big 168 pounder. He's a small 168 pounder, but he is cutting the weight to come down to 160. So, you got that as well. So you got the age, you got the weight cut, you've got Jalil Hackett, I would say being stronger at 160. This is the strongest he's been throughout his whole boxing career. This is the most, this is a fighter who's been depleted for a lion's share of his fighting career. And, for the first time in his career, really been able to operate at full capacity. And that's the version we're going to see. The only loss he has on his record was a fight that could have been argued to go his way, right? In Puerto Rico. Some people said it was a little home cooking, but that's what we got here. What do you think about it after I gave you all those intangibles?
I still think the same thing, bro. I hate when people bring up that age factor. I think boxers age way differently than the average fighter. Most of them take care of themselves very well. And I think sometimes at them older ages, it makes them more dangerous because they're looking for their shots better. And they're not in there just winging. And I still say that just because he's going up in weight, he may feel stronger. He's fighting. Some of these boxers, by living their bodies, stay so little for so long, is why their power isn't translating up into the higher divisions. And now you got to wait and see, hey, is he still hitting it strong? And then I still say the same thing, bro, is if he just tries that boxing like they normally do, and he gets hit the way he has been getting hit. I mean, even though a boy can be coming down with something, I can't pronounce his name. It's even pronounced weird. It says spelled different. But even though he's coming down, that don't mean he gonna just. I mean, maybe he coming down to his way. Maybe that's gonna make him a better fighter. You can't just count him out either. I mean, the age factor. I swear, it makes fighters get more dangerous. Bernard Hopkins won titles until he was 50. But Mayweather, you never expected to lose when he was in his late 30s. Pacquiao just knocked Keith Thurman down when he was in his mid 40s. George Foreman won a title when he was like right next to 52, right? I've never seen, unless that younger fighter was just that type of a superstar, beat somebody spectacular or winning a spectacular. Dang, I'm trying to explain it without stuttering so much. I just gotta see it because I gotta see how they be looking, because they fight better when they fight their friends. But when these Russians and stuff be coming over, especially the ones that's been tested, they not coming over for no average ass, hey, you about to beat me, just give me a check. They be fighting for a reason.
Facts. Yeah, man, listen, man, Sunday's going to be a good fight card for Zuffa. We got the Errol Spence, Tim Tszyu situation coming up on Saturday. We got Anthony Joshua versus Berlanga on Saturday as well. That's going to be interesting for the weekend. I won't be here. I'll be in New York at the event, catching it. So that you guys already know what that means. I'm not calling the fights over the weekend, but we definitely will be back at it to talk about what happens in these fights on the back end, right? When it's all said and done. Thursday we have our show. We'll be going up. Angelo looks like he's about to say something. I don't know. He's just.
Oh no. Go ahead and keep going with you because
Right. So Thursday we'll have the show up and running. Probably focus more so on the Errol Spence, Tim Tszyu situation. Look a little bit into the Stephen Fulton fight as well. See what he's got going on. Look at some of those fights on the Anthony Joshua card as well. Probably a combination of all those. Checking out the Anthony Joshua card as well as the Errol Spence Tim Tszyu card in Australia. And yeah, man. But that's pretty much it. I mean, Angelo, do you want to put anything on it before I wrap it up?
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say that. Zuffa Tuesday was great. I think that for some, I just want to address a couple of the people that were on there that were asking. So stop thinking that when Sunday football starts, that ZUFFA Boxing is gonna be on a Sunday, because Dana White already addressed it. So I understand. I don't want to seem like I'm preaching to you, but Dana White has already said that when football season starts,
he's probably going Friday.
He's obviously not going to be doing ZUFFA Boxing on Sunday. So scratch that off of your I hate Zuffa list. And other than that, yeah, man, I think that Akeem, you're saying a lot of great things, and good buddy. I think more and more people, Clay, are just going to understand that Zuffa, they're here to stay, man. They're not going nowhere. So, and with that, brother, I got to go too, because I got a doctor's appointment. But I knew you were wrapping up. That's why I let you do your thing.
Yeah.
Clay, I just want to tell you, when you get to New York, if you go back to Brooklyn and see Mom Dukes, go. I don't know if you ever heard of the Haitian restaurant Jean Jean.
Yes, I know that one.
All right, boom.
Yeah,
I was about to tell you.
Oh, Clay, that was the other thing too. So apparently there's a Haitian restaurant that's like 10 minutes away from where I'm at. I'm going to try it first, and then I'm going to tell you about it, because I'm going to be like, nah, man, I'm going to try it.
You're not going to say nah, man. You're just not going to do that. I just promise you, you're not gonna say nah. So, okay, whatever.
All the reviews
Go
for
try
it is like a 4.7, which is really high, right?
Yeah,
4.7 out of 5.
It's
So everybody
You're-
seems to love it, but you know.
Get the grill. I don't eat pork, you know what I mean? But I know that's something that I know you eat pork, and I think you'll like it. It's a fried pork, you know what I'm saying? But get whatever you want, man. Get the Julie Jonjon, you know what I'm saying? The black rice. Definitely, whatever you get, make sure you get the Julie Jonjon with it. And enjoy yourself. And I can't wait to hear about how it went for you. Without a doubt, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait.
I'm sure it's nothing like New York, bro. But I got excited when I saw that.
Never know.
Listen, wherever they at,
Yeah, exactly. You never know. It might be just as good or maybe even better, bro. Vegas is a very competitive town when it comes to restaurants and stuff. So they got to be up there to get all those ratings, man. They're competing with everybody, the Filipino spots, the Italian spots, the Chinese spots, or whatever, you know what I mean? So they probably doing their thing, man. They probably showing up and showing out there, man. Shout out to my bro.
It surprised me, man. It surprised me because it's like
we're everywhere.
I kept looking for Haitian in Vegas, and I was looking for like a real spot that will do it.
Yeah.
And then this place, which is I think kind of new, Clay, it popped up, and I was like, oh shit, that's only 10 minutes away.
Oh,
and then I started reading everybody's reviews, bro.
Yeah,
everybody was like, man, this place so good, and oh my god, it's actual real Haitian food. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to mention this to Clay and see what he thinks.
It might be one of your best.
I say that I still want Hitchison to lose, but I'm not against Haitian. But
go. You need to go to a Haitian restaurant too, good buddy. So I think after that, he's gonna eat a plate of food. He's gonna be like, I ain't gonna lie. If he win, I ain't as mad. He could win.
I'm vegetarian.
You're like, I ain't rooting for him, but if he win, it is what it is.
That's what's up, man. Yo, peace and blessings, y'all. Till the next time.
Until the next one, man. Salute to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate you, good buddy, man. Until the next one, man. At this point, guys, we are out.
Gotta aim for the top like hello. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the